You better watch out for those people that bounce back from everything that was meant to destroy them. Those are God's people, and they are not to be messed with.
God says they'll regret what they did to you. Touch not my anointed. Do my prophet no harm. They're gonna regret, guys, what they did to you, man. People know what they've done. I'm talking about the people that walked out on you, the people that betrayed you, the people that set you back. God don't forget anything, man. Understand what I'm saying? God remembers everything, man. So don't go out seeking revenge. Be patient and wait on the Lord, because guess what? He's gonna renew your strength. Amen. God is going to reveal your enemies. He's also going to remove them before he bless you. Don't overthink it. Don't overdo it. Don't go and seek revenge. Vengeance shall be mine, says the Lord. Amen. So people have a tendency to just do certain stuff to the chosen ones and think they're going to get away with it. You're not going to get away with it. It says, touch not my anointed. Do thy prophet no harm. And there's certain kind of people you just don't want to just mess around with like that.
You better watch out for those people that bounce back from everything that was meant to destroy them. Those are God's people, and they are not to be messed with.
Dr. Inky incarnate as the true and living soul of Osiris. It's been 4,000 years since you learned true knowledge yourself, since you learned real black history. Find out the secrets of your soul, how you are being colonized. Take back your history. Create your future.
Peace to the family. This is Abdul Ali, candidate for U.S. House District 12 here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's just be real, folks. The Democrats have destroyed our major cities. Their policies have made us less safe, they've given us less economic opportunity, and they've provided less educational opportunities for our children. And that's why I'm running for Congress, because I know what it takes to improve these issues. I've got great working relationships already in D.C. I've spent the last 10 years of my life building my political resume so that one of us, somebody who thinks like we do, could get into D.C. and make a difference. I want you to visit aliforcongress.com to find out more about my campaign. The Democrats have already done enough, and now they're putting illegal aliens in front of people like you and me, folks whose ancestors built this country and made it what it is today. So again, I'm asking you to support me in my run for U.S. House District 12 here in North Carolina. You don't have to live in North Carolina to support, because what happens in Congress affects the entire country. So again, it's aliforcongress.com. I hope to have your support. Peace and love, y'all.
Peace and blessings out there to everybody. My name is Dr. Inky, the founder of the Melanin versus Diabetes movement and ministry. Our goal is to fight diabetes by creating a biochemically literate society, one book at a time, one person at a time, one household at a time. Join us now by going to Amazon.com and getting all of the books, getting all of the books that you can afford, even if you can't read them all. Share them with family, share them with loved ones. Let's begin the study. And if you need tutoring sessions are available at...
Got the screen on me. Let me show you how I really flex, Si. This is how I really flex. Look at this. You see this, Si? This is how I really flex. This is flexing, right? This is flexing, right? And this is just in this last year. All these books right here is on Amazon. I wrote. Not just read, I wrote. That's flexing.
Myron! Myron!
What?
What are you doing? What you doing?
What you talking about? What am I doing?
You reading them nasty books again, right, Myron?
Everybody reading those nasty books, man. You scared the hell out of me. What you talking about, man? Wait, I ain't did that in about 2 weeks.
You called yesterday 2 weeks. What you reading? What you reading?
You scared the goddamn book, man. Dr. Inky. I went on Amazon and got 3 Dr. Inky books because I'm reading about melatonin and biochemistry. Biochemistry.
What is, Myron, that's not even a, first of all, it's not melatonin and whatever it is that you just said. It's melanin and biochemistry. You can't even pronounce the word, so how you reading? How you reading, Myron?
I'm not looking at the pictures. I know I look at the pictures. I got the books right here. I'm looking at the pictures. You know, it ain't nothing nasty about this. So what are you talking about? I got all the books right here. What are you talking about?
Myron, you don't even know how to read. Every time we get mail, you bring it to me. You think I don't know that?
I went to I got hooked on Phoenix. Now, what you talking about? I was hooked on Phoenix, so I know how to read.
As of when? As of when? Because first of all, hooked on phonics, I believe it's for kids. There's no such thing as hooked on Phoenix. And if I recall, you're the same person that thought reindeer was pronounced reender, and you're the same person that thought pigeon was pronounced piggion. So it makes sense that you went to hooked on Phoenix.
Man, such a dumbass.
No,
you always trying to say somebody can't read. I know exactly what I'm talking about, man. I'm reading the book. I got the book. I got the goddamn receipt right here. I got the goddamn receipt right here for the books. What you talking about?
Well, you need to return them for somebody who know how to read them. And I still don't. It's probably all type of stuff in the inside of the books, Myron. That's how sneaky you are. Give me the books. Give me the books, Myron.
Hell no.
Give me the books, Myron.
Amazon.
Give me the books, Myron.
I'm not giving you none. I got these books off Amazon. I'm not giving you the books. Ain't that no.
Yeah, well, bye. Bye.
I've been in this game. Yeah. You're animals to the shit. Animal, baby.
The gods have blessed us. We must act now. We must act now to save us, to save our souls.
What's going on now? We had a little quick flash of technical difficulty for a second. All right, we back. I done messed up my own algorithm. Peace to the gods in the building. What's good, 7? Way back. Listen, I told y'all we on this. We on this because there's a lot going on, and I need my people to be informed. Like we got to be informed because I have no idea what's going on. I do understand the math, though. I do understand the math. So I want you guys to understand there's 120 witnesses for a reason. There's 120 reasons. There's 120 witnesses for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So there is a mathematical. I'm noticing some things with these numbers. That's all these numbers that's associated with this situation. Times, dates, everything. I'm noticing some interesting correspondences and you know, just some similarities and just some things that says to me as we starting to make this turn, right? Because right now we've made the turn. We ain't starting to make the turn. We done made the turn. We are officially winter solstice bound, right? We're officially headed for the winter solstice. So that's a whole thing in and of itself, right? That's a part. We've already began the astronomical death ritual. Just FYI, I'm just saying. look up to the sky. We've already started the death ritual. So there's a bunch of stuff to pay attention to. So let me do this because I had to of course I got some text messages yesterday. Of course I got some very choice text messages yesterday like, yo, doc, you know, that's a very different doc that you I got some funny messages, you know what I'm saying? But people were basically picking their own way to try to respectfully reconcile in their mind, you know, the images of me as a builder, right, with tools versus the older me that y'all seen in some of those videos yesterday that was holding tools, right? So there's a difference between holding tools and holding tools, right? So that was a younger me. That was a younger me that has gradually changed in stages. Hey, look at this. Dewey said he just started reading the Music to My Ears book, and the Music to My Ears book told him to go into the PhD book. So he wanted to know which book. Okay, so here's the thing with the books, right? The books reference one another because the books reference each other because I write the books out of need. I write the books out of need, like necessity to communicate and then provide as much as references, articles, encyclopedia, wiki, dictionary, synonyms, antonym, like all etymology, like all of the reference material and the scientific material I could put together to, you know, to verify, back up, cross-reference, validate all of the original points, research, and ideas that we come up with in the Melanin versus Diabetes Ministries movement. You know what I'm saying? Because some of the stuff we say is a little off the, but John Q. Public, it'd be a little crazy, like off the wall to try to just listen to some of this stuff if you don't have any pretext. But we have people joining, like you might, who knows, this video could be trash, but this video might be dope. You know what I'm saying? You might send this to your coworkers or something, or your school, you know, you might send this out. Tomorrow, we got 2 or 3 brand new people that never heard of Dr. Inky before. They go grab a book. As they reading through that book, right, it's going to have some stuff in there that they may not be familiar with at all, like never heard before. So in that spot, I'm going to say, for more information on this, please read or reread this, because in this book, I go through the whole, because I might just make a point of it, you know, a couple paragraphs or speak on it, you know, a page or so, and realize that it's more left, you know, like people need more of that, but it's just reference, you know, relevant to that. You know, everything is always referenced out, you know what I'm saying? So I would say because, and then what I tried to do, I'm gonna be honest, I tried to make, now this might sound a little, I'm not going to say cocky, right? I'm not going to say cocky, but I just said cocky. I just said, yeah, it probably might, this might sound a little cocky, but I tried to make, now check this out. I try to make an AI, right? But not an AI though. Like a, A web, right? So you will have a living matrix. So that way, no matter what level of research you're comfortable with, familiar with, you can approach these books wherever you start, right? Because some people's going to hear something that's going to spark them, make them interested. The first Dr. Inky book they buy is going to be a Soulcraft book. All right, cool. Jump in right there. Start with that book. Let that be your first book you read. When you're going through that, it's going to be a whole bunch of science in there that you may not be familiar with. And those things will all be referenced with scientific articles, journals, and some more books. And so any one of those points that touch your heart, pun intended, you grab that book and then you jump in right there and start, like it's breadcrumbs, but the breadcrumbs are, placed in a certain way that you got to, like an infinite amount of ways to walk the line, so to speak. Not a bot like in the computer. I'm talking about with the books. I'm talking about library. I'm talking about in your house. You know what I'm saying? Out of the books. It's a matrix. See, I'm in the future. I'm always thinking after I'm done. Like what I'm thinking, like when I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where my mind is at. That's what the books is for. You know what I'm saying? I think about all the time. You know what I'm saying? I think about, what did Imhotep write that we lost, that we didn't have access to? Like, it would be amazing if I could go into Imhotep's brain today. You know what I'm saying? If I could go into Marcus Garvey's brain today, Malcolm X's brain today, bro, if I could have Max Planck, if I could go into J.J. Thomas' brain, you know what I'm saying? Like, so Dr. Sebi, let's bring it on up. Dr. Sebi died without having written one book. Dr. Sebi never wrote a book. All those books that's about Dr. Sebi, or it says Dr. Sebi didn't write no books. Not one. You know what I'm saying? So we got to make sure that we stop leaving the generations past us to start from scratch. That was the reason they left. The pyramid is a book that lasts all time. You know what I'm saying? So it's plenty of, but that's what we got to do. We got to get our information recorded. We got to record, right? We got to record. We got to get our information recorded, our stories recorded, our narratives recorded, and put that together for the future. So it's no wrong way. The only wrong way to go, the only wrong order to go through the books in. Well, there's no wrong order. The only wrong thing to do is to stop reading. That's what I was going to say. But I was trying to find a slick way. It's too early. It's too early. It's too early. I thought I had a good line because I was trying to get a bar together and it didn't work. Yeah, Sebi was bugging, bro. Sebi was bugging. Sebi was more. But see, here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you, I still love the OGs, even though I understand that they was humans and they had faults, because I get it. I'm human. I got faults. You know what I'm saying? So, but the problem that we have as viewers, you know what I'm saying? The supporters, the students, us, and I'm included in this space, right? Because I'm always going to be more student than teacher. The problem though we have is sometimes we can't clearly see who our teacher is, or even if we listen to a teacher. And some of these guys, most of these guys are not. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys are business people. And they tell us that, but we don't listen. We still put them in the teacher box. It's like, yo, I'm a businessman. And we hear that and we go, yeah, this is our teacher. No, that is a salesman attempting to make you a consumer. Like you in your mind, you hearing something. Salesman, consumer. You know what I'm saying? You want it to be student, teacher, but really it's salesman, consumer.
You see what I'm saying? So I learned early on that everybody was different, and I got lucky. You know what I'm saying? The way God is really like, I'm telling you, God be on my hip. That sounds crazy to say, but he do. You know what I'm saying? Because I have so many instances in my life. My life was guided. I've been saved too many times in situations where there's no logical, like it's just, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about real life or death stuff. So when I go from the life or death situations and I think about these stories, I know these stories, I was placed, you know what I'm saying? And I was guided, you know, like even the Book of T. Coleman, like that was all like, you know, that's some old crazy, you know, when I look back, I'm thinking like, that's really nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't have this. And it goes all the way back to when I was a kid. My dad and my uncles and older cousins and all that, since before I could walk, before I could stand on my legs, they was teaching me and grooming me up to teach. Like I was groomed to be a teacher. So this information that people learning about Illuminati and pyramids and Israelites and this and that, and I've been studying this for 47 years. I'm 47 and I've been studying this for 47 years. When I was in my mother's stomach, my dad was hanging little, squares and ankhs and crosses and all kinds of symbols and reading books to the stomach, but not like Jane Chase dog run, blah, no. All kind of like other. So by the time I was 4 years old, I could, I was reading the newspaper, like reading the daily news, like, so it been since then. You know what I'm saying? I was just groomed to be a teacher, but that's what I'm saying. Everybody's not the same way, even though we see them in front of the room. You know what I'm saying? So I learned there's a difference between a teacher. There's a difference between a motivational speaker. There's a difference between a lecturer. Right? For a while, I was confused with lecturer and teacher. Now that one got me. Lecturer and teacher. Ooh. I didn't really learn the difference to that until I started getting mad at Phil Valentine lectures. Because listen, I ain't gonna hold you. I be giving Phil a lot of shit because Phil is irresponsible with his status, I feel like, you know what I'm saying? And he could be doing a lot more with his voice, responsibly teaching, instead of some of the careless, ridiculous stuff he says to generate views and get a few dollars real quick. So I criticize the OG sometimes, but Phil Valentine had some of the most mind-opening, mind-altering, like think outside of the box. Sometimes the point is not whether the stuff that these people is teaching is factual or not. Sometimes it's just a matter of like mentally, like ice bucket challenging you to break you out of thinking a certain way so you can get into more of a deeper level of critical thinking and just move into thinking outside the box, maybe, or whatever. So anyway, Phil used to have some real powerful stuff back in the days, and I was getting mad because I'm now, mind you, I supported everybody throughout the years. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing about me, also different than these guys. I support everybody that was looking to help the people. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I must have bought 3 or 4 of these $35, $40 damn tickets. Phil was charging $1 zillion to get in his lecture. So, and then I got to pay Simon an extra 50. Simon want an extra 50 so you can set up your table and all that. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, Phil do these long ass lectures with all this tricky information. And when it's only 5 minutes left to the time that the doors got to close and lock, like everybody got to pack up and leave, that's when he end the lecture. And at first I thought he did that by mistake. Like it was just so powerful and he was so passionate about what he was saying that he just kept speaking and we didn't have a chance for Q&A. And then after he kept doing that, I was like, yo, what is this? Is he scared to answer questions about what he's presenting? Or is he like, what is this? So then, I just did a little bit more due diligence and I was like, oh, got it. Because in one of the lectures, he actually mentioned that he's a lecturer. So I was like, let me see if I'm wrong, because, you know, Booker T. Coleman, aka Brother Kaba, that was my that was the closest thing I had to a mentor in the conscious space, right? And so he was a teacher. That's a teacher. Me and him may not see eye to eye all the time, but when it comes to the art of teaching, right, that is Jerry West. Listen to what I'm telling you. Brother Kaba is Jerry West when it comes to the art of teaching. Now, you know who Jerry West is in the NBA. If you don't know, I'm going to tell you. Jerry West is the guy that, you know, the symbol of the NBA with the guy holding the ball about to make the, you know, dunk it or whatever, or in the air, whatever that is. That's that basketball symbol when they say NBA. That's Jerry West, the mold. Jerry West. Why? Did Jerry West score the most points or win the most championships or any of that? No. But he was like the super dog-hearted, relentless competitor. Like he was on the, like how Mike Tyson was like, I'm gonna eat your kids. Like Jerry West was like the basketball version of that. You know what I'm saying? So like he became what the template for what you should aspire to be. You know what I'm saying? And Brother Kaba was like that template as a teacher, what you should want to do. Because it's always, I seen him mad times come with full complex lessons and spend 4 hours on the introduction and never get to the material of the class because of the amount of questions, confusion, and he wanted to make sure everybody learned by the end of the class. And so I was like, okay, the lecturer is there to speak. A lecturer literally gets paid to read his material. That's it. A lecturer gets paid to come and read his material. So if he's there to speak for 2 hours, he's going to come with 2 hours worth of speaking material, and that's it. That's what a lecturer does. A teacher, on the other hand, it is a two-way scenario. The teacher is going to give you information, and then he's going to stimulate you for feedback, checks, balances. You're going to need to get books, do assignments, follow up, study, implement what you learn. Like, teaching is a much more extensive and hands-on kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So I learned there was a difference between all that. And then, like I said, there's motivational speakers. There's guys that are entrepreneurs that are just, they're not really looking to teach you. They're just looking to teach you about something they have to sell, right? So a lot of the herbal guys, they fit into that category. When you see them do a video, they're doing a video saying, I have batana oil. So this is why batana oil can cure, reverse, heal every illness known in the universe. And let me explain to you how it's so amazing. This, and this, and this. So by the time at the end of the video, you haven't learned anything. You've been persuaded, brainwashed, or closed on a deal, as opposed to learning, you know. And you might learn a little bit in the process, but it's a difference. So I just learned that it's all different. And Sabi was definitely more of a, I think he started out as a teacher, but as a trailblazer, he wouldn't have went anywhere because you have to do your own funding. We don't have anybody to help us. You know what I'm saying? It's just me. I mean, listen, ain't nothing special going on over here. You know, we just make it thanks to you guys, cash apps or whatever. And that's it. I'm happy with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need, you know, I've had a lot of stuff, experienced a lot of stuff. So I'm cool with, you know, like taking my kids to the bus like this morning. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, that's what it is for me. You know what I'm saying? Taking my kids to the school bus, mowing the lawn. You know what I'm saying? Stuff that you come out of the hood, the ghetto, like you come out the neighborhood, like you ain't, especially my generation. You got to remember, my generation, we mowing my lawn, nigga, damn. But my generation, you got to remember, they was telling us on the talk shows, on the news, Oprah, Ricky Lake, all these shows on TV back in the days throughout the 80s, that
the generation that was born in the late 70s and the early 80s that we was not going to make it to live to 25 years old. You got to remember, that's a different way to grow up when your teachers is telling you. Like, I remember Miss Simmons, Clark Junior High School, 149 in the Bronx. Miss Simmons was the dean with her fat, stanky, nasty ass. She told me that I was never going to go anywhere, that I was probably going to wind up dead in a couple of years. She was like, you ain't going nowhere in your life. You in here in the office for fighting and beating people up. Anyway, I was there because as a young man, I was very opinionated and passionate about those opinions. She didn't have the right to tell me I was going to be dead or in jail, blah, 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 blah. Just because I had the ability to validate some of the opinions that I was passionate about in a, sustain those opinions in the physical sense, which was different about me than the other kids that was in the smart classes and the debate clubs and things like that. Because when the conversation got really passionate, they had to stand down, where I was like, nah, this is what it is right here. Like, so we have a different generation, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, yeah, we got to go in, man. That's why I told you this is the occult science. Listen, we going in. Aw, that was special. I didn't mean the information. Of course, the information's special. You know what I'm saying? From God's mouth to my ear to your ear. You know what I'm saying? And then we playing the telephone game. You know what I'm saying? From your ear to your mouth to his ear to her ear to, like we playing the telephone game. But I just meant like in my personal life. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody be on the internet talking about how much money they made and doing videos in their cars and all this kind of stuff. And listen, when people take pictures standing next to their expensive car, I take pictures standing next to my expensive children. But they saved my life, though. You know what I'm saying? They saved my life. That's the difference. So that's why, like, we can have those, like, I could look at some of that stuff of me looking a little wild. Like, look at this video. Look at this. I found this video, and this video kind of explains it because, we'll look at the video real quick. It's kind of like a quick journey. I didn't make this video right now. Like, this is an old video. I did this video back in the days. I'm going to show you, and I'm going to tell you the time when I did this too. But check this out. This is how you know how long. Well, I'm going to tell you in a second. Yo, that was the first website that I ever had. 33rddynasty.com. 33rddynasty.com. That's this. I had this before there was no new covenant or none of that yet. That's how old this is. This is a long time ago, but it captured, like, I put it together to capture my little transition, or at least my process anyway. Man, that's crazy. That's back even before Final Cut Pro. That's before I was even on Final Cut Pro. I made that video on what's that called? iMovie. I made that on iMovie. Yeah, I made that on iMovie. It's like a video editing software, but it comes with like these templates. So all you got to do is drop like your little 2 to 3 second clips inside the slots, and it already got it laid out with the music and the words to make it look like you did a good job of editing. Oh, shit. But that's me and the children doing the same thing we doing now. Me and the children, the only thing different is me and the children is different. Like I didn't have as many children. So then I only had Alexis, Ari, Tony, and Amber. Yep, Alexis, Ari, Tony, and Amber. I think James. Yeah, Alexis, Ari, Tony, Amber, and James. So at that time, I had 5 children. There's no Chase and there's no twins. And I'm on the road, you see, with Tony and Amber teaching. So none of this is is new or fake or like remixed for views, clicks, likes. Like, nah. I've been teaching these babies and teaching the babies to teach babies and teaching the parents to teach these babies so that them babies can teach babies for the longest. And with Tony had a different experience than everybody. You know what I'm saying? I took her on the road as an actual speaker. So I did a lecture series on the road with her called YOLO. You only live once. And I would do the parents for like an hour and a half, and then let her come up and do like a half-hour lecture for the children and all that. And then we do a Q&A together. You know what I'm saying? So it was yeah, we've been on this for a minute. That's what you supporting with your Cash Apps. You know what I'm saying? Like your Cash Apps goes to that. Your Cash Apps goes to putting kids in school and college and all that too. Like it's a lot of things that y'all don't understand that Cash App go to. That Cash App ain't going to the nightclub or the rims on cars or high gas prices. Word, Joe. So, you know, it was a transition to, you know, from and to. And that's why sometimes also I spend a lot of time trying to reach people that people think that I shouldn't be trying to reach. I just keep trying to explain to people that tell me, stop wasting my time on these goofy street guys and people that can't read and they thugging and this and that. I'm like, yo, I'm only here today because when I was one of these guys, people wasted their time on me. If people didn't waste their time on this kid that was going nowhere in the street, I wouldn't be here in the position to turn around and do this. You know, like that's how we got to do it. You know, that's how we got to do it. So anyway, there's that. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to just show that. So we say, okay, well, yeah, okay, I got. Oh, now we got it. Okay, got it. It's Young Ink, we got it. Then transition. We see you. You got the babies teaching over here and over there. And okay. Right. So yeah, we need to get back going where we left off because I found what I was looking for last night. I don't know if y'all was watching class. What is this, class 2? I don't know if y'all was watching class 1, but last night I was looking for a file so damn long. I just clicked to the outro and we got out of there. You know what I'm saying? But I found the file I was looking for. So we still here, right? We still somewhere in Nazi Germany. That's where we was at. We was in Nazi Germany right before. That's what we was talking about. We was talking about steroids being an occult elixir or herbals. I mean, not herbal, obviously, but like a brew, you know, a potion, a magical, you know, like an occult thing from alchemists. Is you know, this is a byproduct of secret society and all of the things that you would call satanic. And I'm not gonna say all the things that I would call satanic, because what the public will call satanic, most of those things I wouldn't agree with. But don't get it twisted. There was a lot of satanic, scary, creepy shit that these people were into, like just like non-human, like you know what I'm saying? So, and we all utilize some of the things that come from those non-human, torturous, wicked experiments. So, you know, we got to resolve certain things to ourselves. That's why I was saying yesterday about the steroids with the bodybuilders and all that. Like, we think of steroids in terms of, like, now it's like an illegal sports aid, and, you know, it's that kind of conversation. You know, it's an illegal sports aid and helps you hit home runs and Barry Bonds. And do y'all know where this came from? You know what I'm saying? Like, these conversations need to ask, you know what I'm saying? Because people wonder all the time, how is it that secret societies are so much, and not even just secret societies, but what they're practicing? Why is it that secret science and information is so much a part of what we see in the public later on as maybe a random crimes or politics or big companies or things that we don't understand? And then we see people in certain places with certain connections that we don't understand in terms of, you know, so these things need to start to make sense. And by the time we finish these classes, you'd have known so much, like, this stuff is going to make sense, because there's videos that's interesting, like, because it's crazy. It's gossipy. It's half, 90, you know, 80% fake, 20% fact. Like, so it's a lot of interesting stuff out there, but it's not really teaching. It's really just more like sharing gossip and, you know, shits, giggles, and laughs. You know what I'm saying? Well, when it's really an opportunity for us to do some healing, because do you notice that we've been stuck in this groove since they put that movie out with Monique? You notice we've been stuck in this groove? I mean, look at the conscious community. You got Polite, you got Nature Boy, you got all these other guys with all this crazy stuff. Imam Bashir, Saw just put out the video on, like, it's a lot of crazy stuff, you know, like, so I'm just saying. And you know, you look at Diddy, and then the other guy, Sideman Philly, and you just look at some of these, all of this stuff, and you got to get rhyme and reason. You got to get rhyme or reason. You know what I'm saying? It don't make sense. That's the main thing. The craziest part of what Polite situation is when the situation happened, it was almost like people didn't even care about the victim, because, and not that people didn't care, it's just that people's mind immediately was shocked. Like, yo, why would he do that? And he got, like, don't he got 3-4 wives at home? Like, that was literally the number one question. Like, wait, what? Don't he got women? You're looking at Puff. Don't he got women? Like, he can have any woman he, like, what? It's something else is going on. This is not about having any woman you want. This is not about getting money. This is about some occult science that it's something else going on, right? There's something else going on. Think about it. Most people's life, they operating on what? Making money. So making money drives your life. 99% of people in the world, making money is the driving factor of their life. What they do every day is built around making money. Even if they about to go out, have a rest, break, vacation, whatever, that's based on the timing they got off of work and how hard they doing work and the time they not having with their family because they at work or this or the businesses. Once you have an unlimited amount of money, what is the thing that you're chasing every day? Come on. Once you have an unlimited amount of money, money is no longer an object. I'm asking y'all this in real time. I want to know what y'all answer is. Put that in the chat. Put that in the comment section. If you watch it right now, I want to see it in the chat. Put that in the chat. If money was no longer an option, what would you be spending your time trying to get? What would you be looking for? Right? What would be your metric for success? Right? Because most people metric for success is how much money they make. Right? Past money, what's your metric? The way I was raised, money was never a metric. Had plenty of starving days, lights going out days, shit like that, no phone, whatever. So don't think no silver spoon, Ricky Schroeder shit. But I'm just saying that wasn't the thing. The thing was love, people, family. That's how I was raised. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at Dr. Inky over the years, there's lots of inconsistencies, but the one thing that's consistent, you go, oh yeah, Inky always got the kids. Inky always got them babies. He always putting them babies on the stage, on a platform, elevating them so they can teach people, so that hopefully other people see what you're supposed to be doing and they start elevating and teaching their kids to teach people. And then before you know it, we got a mean ass next generation coming up behind us. And we could go to our grave or whatever, wherever you think we going, and we can go there with a smile. Like, all right, we did our, shit, we did our thing. You know what I mean? We up out of here. We good. You know what I'm saying? We know them coming behind us, but they gonna hold the line. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. I want y'all to, we about to start up. We about to start up because that's like 50 minutes of talking and we ain't even get to the show. So anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho.
I believe her. What? Do y'all? I don't even know if this is man's real daughter. What? I don't even know. I don't know nothing about this. I have no comment to make, but I know a lot of y'all know about this. What? Is this R. Kelly's daughter? And do y'all believe her? What? Do y'all believe that R. Kelly touched on his own daughter?
For no fame. There's a brother out there, his page is the number 4, the word no, and then the word fame all together. He does content like this, but I think the brother could benefit from my book.
There's Marquavius Nichols on the left and Shannon Stillwell, arrested for the murder of Shamel Drinks. Party isn't there to argue body cam of the arrest.
Yeah, he's going up to Cleveland Avenue exit. All right, he's making a right turn westbound on Cleveland Avenue. Okay, to get it westbound on Cleveland. And again, so everybody knows, it's a white 4-door Audi.
So Shannon and Nichols just got out of the car. They're obviously being chased by the police. And when they pull up to this house, whatever the house they're at, apparently in the backyard, they run to the backyard, a goat sacrifice is happening. And I think apparently it's a religious thing. I don't know much about that, but so the body cam probably shows that.
What? YSL members allegedly did a hit. Then when they, escaping or whatever, the helicopter's following them. And I guess either they escaped to this house, or I guess maybe they're saying that there's a random and they were just driving to get away and they just randomly pulled up at this house. But what are the odds that they wind up with a goat sacrifice going on? Like they're getting arrested with a goat sacrifice. After they just did a sacrifice, they wind up going to a sacrifice. You have got to be kidding me. You just cannot make this up. You just cannot make this up. Okay?
as a Haitian, I'm going to say there are spots and spaces where maybe you shouldn't jump to a conclusion when you see something like this going on. But for the overall purpose and the conversation that we're having, bruh, you people that believe that it's just, you go to the studio, you make a song, you put it on the radio, and then you collect a check. Y'all are very confused.
Apparently, this co-defendant, Shannon S.B. Stillwell, got busted on murder charges back in March of 2022. But here's the kicker. He was arrested during a religious ceremony involving the sacrifice of goats. What? Yeah, you heard me right. Goats. What? So, during one of Thug's co-defendants' arrests, they found some wild stuff. A so-called religious ceremony involving the sacrifice of goats. What? Yeah, you heard that right again. Goats. Prosecutors are claiming this co-defendant, SB, is also part of the YSL crew, just like Thugger. Now, Thug's lawyers are arguing that talking about this goat sacrifice won't do any good and could mess with the jurors' heads.
Man, you know what's crazy now? Every time I hear that that gunshot, like that little sound effect, I be thinking in my mind, I've been in this game for years. It made me, I be thinking that's coming, like following. I done programmed my mind with my own clips. I've been in this game for years. It made me an animal. There's rules to this. I wrote me a manual, a step-by-step booklet for you to get your brain on track, not your wig pushed back. Right? So, all right. So so this is where we was at. This is what I was this is what I was trying to find last night that drove me so crazy. I had to go through these hard drives. All right, hold up. Let's get this out of here. Boop. Put this in. Y'all don't know how sleepy and determined I was last night. Y'all should all send me breakfast cash apps right now. Like, not cash apps for support for melanin versus diabetes, nothing. This ain't got nothing to do with that. And if you watch this video later, you still included. Don't think, oh, I didn't see the video. Hey, I would have sent you some breakfast. Nigga, you can send me some, whatever time it is, it's for that time. Snack time at that time. Send me a special cash. Inky, this is for you. Go get you a coffee, Inky. Here's $4.73. Go get you a large, grand. What term the names they got in Starbucks? Go get you one of them things of tea that burn your lips up. Every time I drink Starbucks, it burn me. Send me some Starbucks. Everybody should. I was going through all my files. I said, no, this is important. Because we can't really discuss the Nazi stuff if I can't show you this. Because you got to see the files, man. It just don't make no sense no other way. And even this ain't really the real deal, because you can't, you limited to what. But this is good enough that you be like, oh, okay, I got you, Ink. Now we get it. You really have been in this game for years. It made you an animal. Oh, man. All right, hold on. Let me see.
Y'all remember this? Let me see if y'all even remember this joint, bro. I don't even know if y'all remember this. Remember this? I was debating. I was killing. This is when I destroyed. I ain't gonna say this is when, but this was like the final touches I put on the Amin Ra squad back in the days. You know, I disbanded that whole organization. I destroyed them so bad. I disbanded them. So they'll never forgive me. Right? Remember, we was going through. And make sure y'all go to get the merch, man. Make sure y'all get y'all some merch. Yup. Sequel to Water and Melanin. The Black Holocaust. Sound becomes light. Think Champs. Look at this. I made my own Think Champs thing. I don't know what I be on, bro. I be bugging. I made my coat of arms. I got a Think Champs coat of arms with the heart, with the brain, with the little, yeah. I like this coat of arms. I forgot I made this. I need to keep this. I need to do something with this. Yeah. But no, I want to show y'all. But yeah, y'all gotta go get the merch though, man. I forgot I had these slides in here. Damn, I'm ready to do a whole nother presentation out of this joint. And look at y'all. Y'all mad greedy. Y'all like, yeah, Ink, wait, don't pass that slide. Go back onto that. Hold up, Ink, go back onto that slide. Yeah, I'm dead. Yeah, like, yo, Ink, go back to that. But look, here's the kidney. Here's the kidney. This is dope. I think I'm gonna have to, yeah, we're gonna have, everything happens for a reason. Because look at this. I forgot all about this. I can't hold you. I forgot that I had this. And this is we going into the kidney shit right here. This is the heart of it right here, breaking it down. Ain't that some? That's crazy. But this right here on the end, this is your filter. This is your filter. And this is how your kidney, this is how the tubule, that's what it's called. But it's like the little pipe. Remember I was explaining like this right here could be like the toilet bowl. And it's connected to the pipe. The only problem is, euphemistically, people say your kidney is clogged. They talking about this, but it's really not clogged because a clogged thing doesn't leak. A clogged thing doesn't allow stuff to flow through it. And the problem with the kidney is that it's not clogged. See, when it's clogged, it's healthy. That means only thing could get through there is the liquid and what it wants. When it gets unclogged and you get holes in this, that's when stuff starts to flow through here that's not supposed to be in here, like those proteins that they check in your urine. All them proteins is supposed to be pushed back into the bloodstream, right? And so look at this. You see how insulin affects the, man, this is crazy. Anyway, this ain't supposed to be this, so we ain't doing this. We'll figure that out. We'll come back to this another time. But this is dope, though. Damn, that's crazy. Told you, man. I done forgot more about the body than a lot of these guys ever even learned before, bro. I've been in this game for years. What is this? Yo, I be entertaining myself. Y'all got to understand a lot of this. I got to make this entertaining at least to myself. So if y'all think my jokes is corny, like it's cool because, I be creating this stuff for myself sometimes. That's my big three right there. Now that's my big three. That's my big three. So back in the days in the conscious community, most people's big three was Delbert, Bobby, and Phil. That was the big three. But that was never my big three. This is my big three right here. The crazy, this is the crazy nigga right here, the eccentric. And Dr. Africa was absolutely crazy, period. And the craziest thing about him being crazy is that that he was a military psychiatrist and all kind of like, he got a crazy past. Dr. Africa came out the military. Dr. Africa's a military mental psych. Listen, you want to talk about psyops? Dr. Africa is a psyop, but in a good way, not in a bad attack, Doctor. No, but yeah, if you just know him from reading his books, you get some picture of his personality, but nah, he was a live one. That was a live one right there. That was a live one. You know what I'm saying? That was a live wire right there. But yeah, that's my big three right there. This my big three against any big three you put together. Any big three you put together on some conscious information, this my top three right here. I'm gonna go with them. Now I might be able to change it and sub somebody out, sub somebody in, maybe depending on what day you catch me or something. But if I had to put together an imaginary three from the old school to take on any other three, it'd be these guys. All right. Doc, stop talking everybody to death and find the information. All right, we're getting there. Now, this right here is one of the most legendary teachers of all time, right? So sometimes with guys like this, I be trying to put people's faces and names and stuff like that around so you would get the idea of, so you would have references for some of these people. And then sometimes just make you curious so you want to go and find out who these people are on your own. Because a part of being scientifically literate is knowing where some of these ideas come from. The good ideas and the bad ones. Yeah, the good ideas and the bad ones. Who knows what arrêt le cunnerie means in French? Arrête le cunnerie. Who know what that means in French? Somebody look that up in French and type it in the chat. This right here. This is my response to India Ari saying, I am not my hair, I am not my skin. What that say? Somebody translate that, drop it in the chat. If you do not have that book, go get that book. This is the book where his personality is most in it. His personality is in this book. I know he hand-penned this book. A lot of his books, I don't think he hand-penned them. This book here, I know he wrote this book. That's my favorite Dr. Africa book in terms of the writing. The one with the most information in it, the most informative, is probably the one that he got the... Oh, hell no. Don't tell me this is the wrong lecture. It got to be in here. I'm going to be mad as hell if I look all night for this lecture and it's the wrong one. I cannot find these. Oh, here you go. Woo! I was about to be 38 hot. Okay, so here we go. We right in here somewhere. We right in this pocket. I got it now. We somewhere in here. Okay, hold on. We in the right pocket. Melanin from an evolutionary remnant to myeloid lineage cells, main energy source, the unsuspected intrinsic property of melanin, dissociate the molecule from water. To debunk that goofy guy. All right, so I guess we could start here, even though, see, if I do this thing from the beginning, I'll have the context of the lecture and the flow of it, because I know I'm missing stuff in terms of, I know I'm missing stuff in terms of the context of the flow that I'm supposed to be, because I really just wanted to show you the one piece regarding the Nazis and what they had going on. Anyway, but it starts here, right? And I guess I'm using this. Yeah, I see where we walking it down. I'm talking about, you know, pigments and some of these things. And I guess I get to the differences between the physiology, right? Polar haplotypes and equatorial haplotypes. And I guess that starts with this article, right? So this is December 1986, the Journal of Applied Physiology, Respiratory, Environmental, and Exercise Physiology, right? Skeletal muscle characteristics in sedentary Blacks and Caucasian Americans. Okay, so this is telling you the muscle tissue differences in people that don't exercise or nothing. So they ain't did nothing. They haven't done anything to stimulate their muscle growth or change their muscle fibers or anything. These are just regular folks. They go to school, come home, play video games, sleep, or they go to work, come home, play video games, sleep, whatever. It ain't nothing extra to it. And here's what the data says. 23 male Black African and 23 male Caucasian subjects ascertained as sedentary participated in this study designed to determine whether there were differences in skeletal muscle, histochemical, and biochemical characteristics between racial groups. Muscle fiber, muscle fiber type portions, type 1. You see this right here? Hold on. Come on, man. What are you doing? Okay, we having some technical difficulties. Here we go. All right. So you see, I just wanted to make it a little bit bigger. That my computer went crazy. But muscle fiber type 1 is slow twitch muscle, right? Type 2A, this is half and half, right? So this is the semi, this is oxidative muscle fibers, the little ones. And then this is also the fermentation, right? This is the Osiris muscle fibers over here, right? These are the ones that, and everybody has these. So don't get it twisted and think that only Black folks have these, or I'm saying only Black folks. No, but Black folks have a much higher ratio of this fermented type of muscle tissue than anybody else. So for me, that right there was the craziest discovery in terms of relating what the ancients was teaching in terms of how they did their science and mixed it with mythology and storytelling and all that to what we had going on today. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. That was remarkable. For the story of Osiris to be based on the fact that Osiris's blood is wine, right? Wine is fermented fruit sugar. So if Osiris's blood is fermented fruit sugar, they really understand exactly, because that type 2B muscle fiber that I'm showing you in this paper, rather, I'm just trained to point to. I've been doing lectures for so long. When I really be making a point, my muscle memory just automatically points to the Yo, I'm gonna call that ghost keynote presentation syndrome or something. Like I got what PSTD, but in a presentation kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Like, but anyway, that type of muscle tissue only uses fermented fruit sugar for fuel. To be, and I gotta say this again, so I'm hoping it like people get it. I'm gonna keep saying it. You know what I'm saying? Like this whole big book. I ain't gonna say the whole big book, but where is it? Oh, right here. Most of this book is based around elucidating on these points. That's why early in the book, the first few pages, we right there in the first few pages, we start this conversation in this book here, and this is on Amazon. You don't have this, you need this, right? This is our theosophical book. 1 of 1. Actually, this is half of 1. This book has a part 2 to it, which is this book. right? Crazy story. Only my guy from Philly knows the story because he was behind the scenes with me. It took me the longest time to get this book published. This is how big. Actually, this is not even it. This is a cut down version. So when I first put this together, people know because I actually gave out a free copy of my manuscript to what I was doing with this. And that was like 2,000 slides, right? Maybe a year or so before actually trying to pen in the words to it, you know what I'm saying, and do the, you know, and so it was way too big. I didn't know at the time that even Amazon publishing, like you can't just use unlimited amount of pages, like there's limits, you know what I'm saying? So I had to keep chopping the book down, whatever the case may be. Final edit, I can just break it in two. And so you have this Inky, Soul of Osiris, and then part 2, the Horus versus Set transaction, or rather Horus versus Set, the transaction, right? So, but we start off in this book with that Osiris story, and we kind of make some references to, you know, where Masonry has, you know, there's some allusions in the rituals and the mysteries for the people that know. So we talk about those things, and then some of the things that may have bled over into the Bible in reference to this biochemistry aspect anyway. We go into, yeah, my library is crazy right now. It's all right. That's because I had a consultation, like a house call consultation. And so I had threw like a whole bunch of books into my duffel bag. You know, my Inky bag that's normally up top here, you notice it's not there. So I had to throw a whole bunch of books in my bag and go, you know, do like a little house call. And I went to somebody's house, and, you know, I did an in-person tutoring session. I had like mad books. It was crazy. I wanted to record it, bro. That would have been a fire video, but they ain't let me record it. Yeah, they ain't let me record it. But anyway, my point is, you got to answer. Are we saying, like, if we say that back in that time, 3,000-4,000 years ago, they didn't know anything about the anatomy and the difference in the muscle tissue, you got to ask, so this is a coincidence? That's a hell of a coincidence. The odds are higher against this coincidence existing than it being on purpose, because the muscle tissue only works in the presence of fermented fruit sugar. I need you to understand that. So think about your skin. Your skin is made of cells. Your skin does not, like, it's not alive unless the material that it needs. Remember, it's electricity. It's electricity, right? So it's no electricity. It's no juice running through this tissue because it's like having dead batteries. And, you know, so you got to put the fermented fruit sugar there in order for it to come alive. Now, we got the most of this tissue than anybody else. And guess what? We have the most of the disease that's associated with this tissue and with that fermented fruit sugar, diabetes. So, hey, either that's a hell of a coincidence or we got to say, man, maybe they knew something we don't. You know what I'm saying? Like that's you got to do one. But either way, however you look at it, I just try to get to the now. Anyway, so back to the article, right? So we can get through this. So 23 males, black and white, that don't really do much, couch potatoes. They were tested. Muscle fiber type portions, fiber areas and activities, several enzyme markers of different energy, metabolic pathways were determined from a biopsy of the vastus lateralis. Results indicated that Caucasian had a higher percentage of type 1 muscle and a lower percent Type 2, then Africans, no significant differences between the racial groups. In type 3 areas, enzymes catalyzing reactions and phosphogenic creatinine and Now, these are the things that you see on your kidney test and on your pregnancy test. So your kidney test, your pregnancy test, all of these are things where you need to know this information right here. But we're not looking for that right here. All right. No significant difference was noted in the oxidative enzymes, blah, blah, blah. Consequently, the ratio significantly elevated in Africans. The racial differences observed between African Caucasians in fiber type proportion and enzyme activities of the phosphogenic and glycolytic metabolic pathways may well result from inherited variation. These data suggest that sedentary Black male individuals, in terms of skeletal muscle characteristics, well endowed for sport events of short duration, right? So we have more explosive muscle, fast twitch than they have, right? Now let's keep this going. Breathing patterns during exercise in young Black and Caucasian subjects. Lung volumes and sex, age, height, and weight match Black subjects are 10 to 15% lower than those in Caucasians. To determine whether this decreased lung volume affected the ventilatory adaptation to exercise, minute ventilation, its components, frequency, and tidal volume, and breathing pattern were observed during incremental cycle ergometer exercise. 18 Caucasian and 14 Black subjects were studied. Vital capacity was lower in the Black subjects versus the Caucasians, right? Whereas functional residual capacity, total lung capacity was higher, mixed expired, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Try to get past all these numbers. The Black subjects attain any given level of VE with a higher F. Come on, make this make sense. Okay. Differences in lung volume and the ventilatory response to exercise in these Black and Caucasian subjects suggest differences in the respiratory pressure volume relationships, or that the Black subjects may breathe higher on their pressure volume curve. Okay, this is important because this has everything to do with. So again, these are old articles, obviously, you know what I'm saying, but as time goes on, information gets more refined, more sophisticated. Now, what we were able to do, like we have the Osiris Diabetes and Respiration book, right? So studying these papers specifically, and a couple of other papers that I had in the same kind of like in the same pocket, is where I started to really dig into the differences in like the nose design, right? So you have basically like 3 basic nose designs, right? You have the more polar haplotype, which is your quote unquote white folks, right? They have the thin nose, right? This thin streamlined nose. The reason the nose is thin and streamlined is because they're in a cold climate and they have to heat the air before the air can get to the lungs and the blood and all that. So they need to heat the air, right? So thin. The equatorial groups, right? And I guess you got to make a distinction here between the equatorial groups and the sub-equatorial groups. That would really be more like us. You know what I'm saying? We would really be like equatorial, but then down. You know what I'm saying? Because you got the Middle Eastern people. You know what I'm saying? Those are more your brown/red folks. You know what I'm saying? Now they got the hook nose, right? Because those are your desert folks, right? So those folks from the desert type of environment, right? They got the hook nose because their nose filters, right? You got to make sure when you live in those places, you could die if you get like sand and stuff like that in your lungs. So their nose is designed differently to stop any type of sand or anything like that from getting into their lungs. Because you get sand and all that in your lungs, it's a wrap. This nose right here in the desert, no, no, no. It's for the people you don't love. This nose in the desert will kill me. So yeah, to give you an example of this, of every type of thing, you know what I'm saying? Like every body part has advantage or disadvantage depending on where you at. Like Rakim said it best. It ain't where you from, it's where you at. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's how it goes. Now, this nose right here is made to be in a prime environment, right? So in a way, these are the best noses for the best environment, but it's the worst nose for any other environment, right? Literally, it's the best nose for the best environment, but this is the worst nose in the desert, and it's the worst nose in the cold weather. So overall, you might rate the black nose as the lowest level. I love my nose, don't get it twisted. I'm just saying, overall, there's room for everybody to be proud of who they are. It's room for everybody to be proud of their features. You know what I'm saying? Because your features are fly somewhere. Like in Detroit in the wintertime, my features are not all that cool. You know what I'm saying? But I would tell you, I be in my neighborhood too. I be driving them crazy. I be winning like a motherfucker. You know, like we winning. And I got a black dog too. No, we winning in July and August. July and August, my features are really environmentally sound. September through March, yeah, bundle up. Bundle up. I be chasing these kids down the street with hats and gloves and all that. Put this on your neck. So don't feel like, you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You got what you got. You know what I'm saying? Now, it might not be an advantage because of where you at. That's why this is the generational health conversation. We need to know about what we got, where we got it from, and what it's used for and how it's hurting us today, because our noses are contributing to diabetes. Listen to this. Our nose is contributing to diabetes, kidney disease, and all the stuff we're dealing with. But we in a space where nobody's teaching us about us. I got a book called the PhD book. In fact, somebody asked me about the PhD. Oh, yeah. Just a little while ago. He said in the God is Music book, it says the PhD book. When you go in the PhD book, we talk about the noses and how important the noses was in chemistry. Matter of fact, I'm going to go get that, just so we could go into that a little bit real quick while we in this pocket. While we in this pocket, let me see. Yeah, here you go.
The gods have blessed us. We must act now. We must act now to save us, to save our souls.
Shit. What's in this pal? Hold on. Yo, I was talking to my neighbor the other day. Like, what is all those books? Oh, nothing. You know, you read I said, no, I wrote these. All right. All right. So here's the Osiris Diabetes and Respiration book, right? Very, 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 very important piece, right, to this whole conversation. And here's the PhD book, right? The Power of Hydrogen is Divine. PhD, Power of Hydrogen is Divine. So in this book, one of the things we talk about is it here? Okay, yeah. First chapter. So if you got this book, you should open this book up right now. If you got this book, because some of y'all got this book, open this book up. It's a page. I'm going to tell you in a second. We're going to read some of this stuff. 3, 4. Okay, yep. Page 4. Go to page 4. Let's talk about the nose real quick, right? So, to accept any... notice how we focus on the dust of the ground or the breath of life, but never the anatomy. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. You know, it's funny because right in this verse right here, we got some stuff to unpack. Right? What are we talking about? Wait, what sparked all this conversation? Why are we doing this? Because of the what? The music what? In Dust Street. In Dust Street. What is the industry? The industry is where they process resources and make product services for people. The industry. In Dust Street. So in dust is where the resources, in dust is where the magic is. In dust we trust. Right? Anyway, right? And breathed into the soul, into the dust. God breathed into the dust. And then the dust became a living soul. Hold up. Listen now. Let me read this whole verse to you again. And the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So the whole part and parcel. The soul is the whole thing. The whole thing. What you're looking at, you see my soul right in front of you. It's all this is a part of it. Right? All this is a part of it. This is why we all have certain aspects of our body that is unique to us, right? Nobody has the same fingerprints. Nobody has the same retina. Nobody has the same tongue print, lip prints, footprints, walk, bone structure, your rhythm, the way you balance your body, your voice is unique. Like this, a plethora. In fact, everybody's blood. Did you know that your circulatory system is unique? Everybody's circulatory system is unique. Bet anybody you want $1,000. Bet any doctor. You could get some money from a doctor. Well, if you say 1,000, they probably gonna know it's a trick, and you ain't gonna be able to get no money. But if you know some doctors, bet them like $20. Like bet them lunch. Be like, yo, I'll bet you lunch that you can't prove to me that any two people have the same circulatory system. And they're going to try to beat you up with knowledge. They're going to try to beat you up with their credentials and all that. All you got to do is ask them, like let them walk through their stuff. They're going to think they smart. They're going to start telling you, oh, yeah, and the mouth of the aorta, and the aorta goes into this, and the vena cava and extends out to this and all this. Let them do that. Then ask them, How many capillaries does a human have? You ask them that question, that ends the game. Because the answer to that question is every human has a different number of capillaries. Capillaries too small to count. Capillaries grow and reseed along with your daily activity and your diet. So you don't even have the same amount of capillaries as you had last week. Like, that's a unique thing. Everybody's body's unique. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. The breath of life is important in Kemet, just as it is in the Bible. Breathed into his nostrils. That's important too, because he didn't breathe into his mouth. He breathed into his nostrils. See, that's another. See, and this is something that over the years, you had 1,000 people talk about concepts that the biblical authors may have adopted, stolen, taken, whatever from Kemet. You notice they never talk about this nose thing. You know why? Because you only see with your mind. You only hear with your mind, right? You don't see with your eyes and ears. So because they don't know the science, they can't. This is probably one of the most widely read verses in the Bible. And God formed man from the dust of the ground, breathing his nostrils, blah, 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 blah. Why we don't have importance around the nose. See, this right here, this one verse is important because it's also letting you know why the nose system, nose system, we're going to roll with that, is called the olfactory. Like, because literally, the nose system is the body's old factory for building proteins. And building proteins is how you build the body, right? So your body had to be able to sniff out sources of aromatic aminos. You know, your body has to be able to figure that out. So this is what aromaticity is. Right. So this is where the science of smell is an electromagnetic function. See, that's what we break down in the what you call it book. You got to get the smell is an electromagnetic function. It's in the food chemistry book, not the kitchen chemistry book, the food chemistry book. Right. So we go deeper. And as a matter of fact, let me go get that book because that goes with this. These things goes together. We should have this together. But anyway, I'll get it after. The breath of life is important in Kemet, just as in the Bible. The adventures of Senahat. The main character writes to the king, Kepa Ka Ra, thou, the good God, Lord of both lands, loved Ra, favorite of Mentu, the Lord of Thebes and of Amen. Lord of thrones of the lands of Sebek, Ra, Horus, Hathor, Atmu, and his fellow gods, Sapdu, Nephabu, Samsetu, Horus, Lord of the East, and of the royal Uraeus, which rules on thy head, of the chief gods of the waters, Min, Horus of the desert, Udit, mistress of Punt, Nut, Hont, Ra, all the gods of the land of Egypt and of the isles of the sea. May they give life and peace to thy nostrils. May they load thee with their gifts. May they give to thee eternity without end, everlasting without bond. So that's how they gave it up in the Kemetic text. If you want to put blessings on somebody, you lined up all the gods and you wish that they would bless them through the nose, because the nose is how God works with you. So this is in the Bible and this is in Kemetic papyri. This is just, I ain't write these books. We're just doing the research, right? So this is how God interacts with you. Through the nostrils.
O thou who art beloved of Ra, of Horus, and of Hathor, Mentu, Lord of Thebes, desires that thy august nostril should live forever. That's kind of crazy, right? That your nostrils live forever, right? This is some wild talk, right? Still later in another scene, the god king's children say, may the goddess Noob give life to thy nostrils. May the mistress of the stars favor thee when thou sailest south and north. Tutankhamun had a professional nose picker. Can you imagine this shit? As a royal prince, you got somebody that's there, that's their job is to clean your nose. Your nose is so special, you can't, like, you got to have somebody that know what they doing to clean your nose so that they, you know, so that they don't mess it up, and then the gods can't come, you know, come back and, you know, keep bringing you favor, right? What else we got here? Pure is the Osiris, great of the five, master of seats, Sisal, the perfume. The perfume opens your mouth. It is the saliva of Horus. The perfume. It is the saliva of the gods. The perfume. It is what makes firm the heart of the two lords. The perfume. That's from the tomb of Petosiris. The text in the funeral chamber, speech of Isis. Isis saith, I have come to be a protector unto thee. I waft unto thee air for thy nostrils, and the north wind which come forth from the god Tem unto thy nose. I have made whole for thee thy windpipe. See, so this is what I'm saying. Listen, hold on. This is just a sidebar conversation. Remember when I was debating with all of the, you know, and they're like, yeah, can you show us? I'm like, I'm showing you right here over and over and over. The actual science parts of it. You know what I'm saying? If you call yourself a Kemetic scholar, you can't blame me because you haven't really been actually reading Kemetic books. These guys think that the definition of scholar, with the exception of Jabari, is somebody who just talks foolishness on the internet. Respectfully, that's not it. You actually need to stay reading. To be a baller doesn't mean you sell drugs. It means you play ball. You know what I'm saying? And when you retire from playing ball, you an ex-baller. Like, that's when you got to do the thing that you say you do. A scholar studies, right? So you got to be an ardent student, right? Just saying. Don't be mad with me. Anyway, this is the text in the funeral chamber speech of Isis. I have come to be a protector unto thee. I waft unto thee air for thy nostrils, and the north wind which cometh forth from the god Tem unto thy nose. I have made whole for thee thy windpipe. I make thee to live like a god. Thine enemies have fallen under thy feet. I have made the word to be true before Nut, and thou art mighty before the gods. Opening of the mouth was also opening of the nose. The nose is what takes in the genetic material via horizontal gene transfer. In fact, Egyptian physicians were interested in the anatomy of the nose. Though they didn't understand the olfactive process, or maybe not completely, because we're still learning it. So it's crazy that people that don't understand a thing can say someone else does it. Anyway, they did know that the internal chambers played a part. The ancient Egyptian word for the word nose is find. Right? Find. Think about that. How we have the word find, F-I-N-D, that's a Kemetic word. That word comes from ancient Egypt, and that means nose, right? But there was obviously no vowel, so it's F-N-D, right? So it could have been pronounced a few, but find.
right? And what do animals do? They sniff stuff out. We even use sniff stuff out as like a euphemistic slang term for being a detective, right? From the Edward Smith surgical papyri, we know that the area of the very back of the internal nose where the cribriform plate is located was called the tight and find. That has been translated since the 1950s as the inner chamber of the nose. The word shatite is a word only used in a religious context, specifically in religious architecture, and means the dwelling place of the gods. Now you know why you don't know about that. The Egyptians said the back of the nose is the dwelling place of the gods. Huh? Yeah, I think we might need a moment, right? We might need a moment. Let's have a moment.
You better watch out for those people that bounce back from everything that was meant to destroy them. Those are God's people, and they are not to be messed with.
God says they'll regret what they did to you. Touch not my anointed. Do my prophet no harm. They're gonna regret, guys, what they did to you, man. People know what they've done. I'm talking about the people that walked out on you, the people that betrayed you, the people that set you back. God don't forget anything.
The gods have blessed us. We must act now. We must act now to save us, to save our souls.
Yeah, I'm telling you, look. I know some of y'all are like, hold up, Inky, you still got to bring it back, though. We want to hear you make that work. You said the nose is causing diabetes and kidney disease. Damn it, you got to stand on that. Well, you got to read the books. You got to read the books, right? You got to read the books, because in the books, I talk about original concepts. Then you got to kind of really break it all the way down. But the basics of it is the environment, right, dictate your nose relationship, right? So I explained in the cold, in the sand. Now, in a lush green environment, right? In a lush green environment, you have a wider nose because you have a more oxygenated environment. A more oxygenated environment creates a more oxygenated biochemistry, right? So now the reason you got more fast twitch muscle is obviously for what? To use it more, right? Think about the environments. You ain't that mobile in the ice. You're not that mobile in the ice. So that's not happening. Right? You only moving around in the ice when it's time to go kill something, to eat something, and other than that, you trying to stay tucked away wherever you done made a warm place for yourself. So if you done carved out some holes or some caves or whatever, or you done built some huts, or you done built like whatever that is, you right there. You ain't no going nowhere to. You right there. Lush green, totally different, right? So, the faster you could bring in oxygen, right? Now, we're going to stop right there for a second. I just read the article where it says that the volume size of the lungs is different between white folks and black folks. There's a reason. The smaller the lung, the more pressure you put on the tissue, the more gas pressure you put on the lungs, the faster your body, the faster the lungs could push oxygen through the what is this called? The tissue. So the tissue at the bottom of the lungs. So the bottom of your lungs, you got the layer of the lungs tissue, and then you got the outside of the blood vessels tissue, and then inside you got the blood. Those two layers of tissue together is called something. The respiratory membrane. So the more pressure you have in the lungs, the more oxygen goes through the respiratory membrane faster, right? So typically you want more oxygen because you got more muscle activity, right? Trying to make this compartmentalized so it stick. So more air, more pressure, more oxygen, the more muscle activity. But more muscle activity means what? Right? What are you using for the muscle activity? Sugar, which is also more plentiful where? Do you have fruits growing in the desert? Or do you have fruits growing in the ice? Or do you have fruits growing in the lush green environment, right? So the lush green environment provides more fruit, which is more sugar, provides more oxygen. So because you're going to be having more sugar, you need to get more oxygen. That's how you are disease free. Your metabolism rate has to stay coupled to your respiration rate. Now, when you start metabolizing more sugar, then oxygen is coming in. That means you're not going to be able to take that carbon out. That also means that, because that's the process, right? Your body breaks down carbs. So damn, I don't want to erase this. Oh, you know what? That's the beauty of having the two-sided board. Hold up, we're gonna get it. Yeah. I hope nothing on the other side. Ooh, nice, clean and ready to go. That's nice right there. Look at that. Look at that right there. Come on, that's epic right there. And I ain't gotta erase the other part. Boom, and we right back at it. Okay. So here we go. So we're gonna put respiration over here, right? This is oxygen coming in that nose, like Yosemite Sam. What? Not Yosemite Sam. What's the bird? Toucan Sam. Follow the nose. It always knows, right? Then we got metabolism over here, right? So here's what happens. Here is. This is your sugar right here, right? This is your sugar, right? 6 carbons, right? So now when this glucose breaks down, now this is going to be super oversimplified, but this, so you get it, right? So this is what metabolism's doing. Breaking this down to try to get the energy to ATP and this and that. All right, so this got to break down. So when it breaks down one time, now you have 2 3 carbon units, right? This is metabolism, the process of breaking down carbs, fats, proteins. Carbohydrates are all 6 carbon chains. Glucose specifically, 6 carbon chain. Let me not say all. Glucose specifically, 6 carbon chain. You break it, you got 2 3s, right? Bang. 2 3s. Now, when you break these, because metabolism ain't finished, you got 2 carbon, single carbon. You do it again, you got, it's your 2 carbon and your single carbon. Now, your body is going to use this. This is going to continue on metabolism, right? For energy and living and blah, blah, blah. Over here, this is where the oxygen is coming in.
See this? These are waste products. These are waste products. This carbon is seen as a waste. Don't listen to these goofy online people that talk about they the carbon people and all this carbon diet and all this foolishness. Carbon is a waste product. It's a waste product. It's toxic to the body. Okay? It's a waste product. Your body gets rid of this. Plants use carbon, not us. Okay? We get rid of it. Carbon is like a structural thing or a toxin. It's not a nutrient. Like it's not what people, it's not, we got to relax. Book reading needs to happen, right? So these are dangerous waste products. And guess what? For each one of these sugar molecules, you basically need you need 4 oxygen atoms. Right? You need 4 oxygen atoms to go along with breaking down this 1 molecule of glucose. Because you need oxygen, 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 oxygen. Right? So now when your body makes this into what? Now what happens? Now from single carbon that can't move, that floods your cells and stops your mitochondria from doing what it's supposed to do. Did you hear what I said? Floods the cells, stops the mitochondria from doing what it's supposed to do. Now you turn each one of these into what? CO2. And the 2 oxygens are strong enough to carry this joker right on up out of your body. So it's going to go right back into the bloodstream. And the blood cells are going to carry this back to the lungs. So now you can get rid of the carbon dioxide. Right? So the oxygen coming in, cleaning you. It's cleaning you from the waste products of metabolism. So that's why respiration and metabolism have to stay coupled. Once they get uncoupled, right, you're going to have problems on both sides. Once they get uncoupled, you're going to have problems on both sides. On the respiration side, you're going to have stuff like, on the respiration side, you're going to have stuff like hypoxia and hypercapnia start to tap in, which is pretty much 2 sides of the same coin. But all diabetics and folks with metabolic stuff, they deal with these, even though they probably don't know what they are. Hypoxia and hypercapnia, that's going to come in on the respiration side. These are foundational problems that create a whole zillion other symptoms. So these, when people talk about naturopathic stuff is getting to the root causes, these are root causes. Hypoxia means that oxygen is not getting into a certain area of your body. So these tissues, while you are breathing, this area of your body is not breathing, right? Hypercapnia is when you're not able to to get rid of the carbon fast enough, so it starts building up. Now, the speed of this exchange is going to determine your ability to keep exercising. Here's what I mean. The more movement or energy you need to do whatever you're doing, right? Your body's got to get that from here. So you got to break down more sugar for more energy. More sugar breakdown, you need more oxygen coming in. That's why when you first start learning to exercise, when it gets hard, you stop breathing and start straining. You're like, and your trainer or your coach, if they're good, the first thing they're supposed to say is, hey, whoa, stop, don't do that. Keep breathing. Slow down the movement maybe, but make sure you keep breathing. Why? Because if you stop breathing while you're exercising, you uncouple these 2 systems. Right? You uncouple these 2 systems, and what happens when you do that? Your muscle group floods with what? Lactic acid, because you don't have what? Enough oxygen to do what? This, right? And now what?
you're tired. And if you keep trying to go, the muscle will eventually spasm and fail or whatever the case may be. Anyway, so on the metabolism side, you start to develop fat, high levels of intramyocellular lipids. That word is too long to even write right there. See, that's where Dr. Sabi just said mucus in there, but we'll say intramyocellular lipids, because I know we're going to have some old brainiac goofball like, no, there ain't no mucus. All right, well, it is intramyocellular lipids, so there's that, right? So you're going to have that kind of stuff going on the other side, right? Then you're going to develop that diabetic hunger, right? That's something that's hidden. You can't see hunger. You know what I'm saying? You can't see hunger. And it's crazy because you even children have the advantage of, because they still growing, they can offset some of the problems. But people that's not exercising, they're like, yeah, I'm hungry. How you hungry? You ain't did nothing. You ate and you sat. How is you ready to eat again? You ate and you sat and you ready to eat. Why? Because you're not getting this. You're not getting this process happening. Your body's not fully metabolizing glucose into all of the energy your body can extract from it. So now, when your body wants more energy, because it can't really rely on this, your body wants to eat more. But you're not breaking it down. But you still need more energy. So you're going to eat again. And then that starts to wear down. And now you're getting energy drinks. And now you're getting more, like, the more energy starved you become, the more you get what's called the sweet tooth. Sweet tooth means you are energy starved, right? Because your body is dropping its standards. Like, it's just getting to the point where it's just like, bro, just please, just like give us like a half a cup of straight Domino sugar. Like, give us we could barely do what we're doing now. We ain't got no energy. So yeah, you start to have that chronic fatigue sit in, right? The chronic fatigue sit in. But if you get to the space where you're exercising, right? Exercise can break some of this stuff down. And I was talking to one of the guys doing a consultation. I said, listen, this is how you got to think of it. Insulin is automatic. Insulin is your automatic, right? But your body has a manual. So the insulin just means you can't drive on automatic no more. Your body ain't going to do it by itself. But that doesn't mean you can't drive, right? You could go into manual. And manual is by making your muscles themselves metabolize the sugar with movement, right? Contracting and relaxing like this. When you make them do this over and over, they will metabolize the fat and the sugar. They don't have no other choice. That's literally what they're doing when you make them do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just have to. So when you chilling like this, insulin does it. That's automatic. If the insulin, for some reason, is not working, you may not just want to keep flooding with more and more and more insulin and more sugar. You might want to stop and start to get to them push-ups. Right? And then when this kicks in, the more full body the exercise, the better. Right? And that's multi-joint movements, pull-ups, push-ups. That's where calisthenics becomes so, right, for longevity. Right? Longevity. Right? But anyway, this is a short. Now, I go through this chemistry right here in much more detail in another book. Are y'all getting this book thing? This is how we do it with the books, because the books is able to go, because somebody might want more info on this, right? Because this is deeper. This is how you form. So also, this is the part of the process of how your body forms cholesterol. So not only is energy produced from this same breakdown process, the Krebs cycle, tricarboxylic acid cycle, what else they call this? the citric acid cycle. This has 3 names, right? Even though each name has a specific, you kind of use all 3 to refer to the same process, but the molecules that like, this is the foundation of everything right here. So this is why everything is attached. Cholesterol comes from this, literally. You know what I'm saying? So all roads lead to Wakanda. So that would be, bam, the Carbon Edition book. Duh. What else would we be talking about in the Carbon Edition than carbon? Right? So on page, when fatty acids are metabolized into glucose, the tricarboxylic acid cycle functions the same. 6 carbon atoms becomes 2 set to 3, then 2 set to 2 and 2 singles. The singles become 2 molecules of CO2 or 4 atoms of oxygen. When children have too much sugar, their central nervous system is activated, making them randomly fidgety. The uncontrollable movement is the body's natural way to dissipate the sugar. Yeah. So, yeah, we go into much more detail here. One enzyme in the right pH, 2 pyruvates, and then the pyruvate. Yeah. So we go, yeah. There's that. Right. All right. So we're moving. We are moving. Right. So anyway, this what lays the foundation to metabolic disease, because this is the real problem. Metabolic diseases are a combination of problems between the coupling of these 2 systems, because these 2 systems have to work together. Period. These 2 systems go together. Right? And then there's a fluid part to this as well. There's a whole water part to this that's also important. But this is the main thing, right? Because this is the whole food and blah, 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 blah. Right? So this, even with anemia, and there's so many different things, we could use this little basic scribble strap. Scribble scrabble. We could use that as a nice little basic diagram to figure out some stuff, right? All right. So now this nose, wide nose, more oxygen comes in. So I'm in an environment where I have more carbs. In fact, I'm in the only environment where there's carbs. It's not really any carbs in the desert, and there's not really fruits and vegetables growing wild in the snow and the ice, right? It's down here with the watermelons and the mangoes and all that's going crazy. So I got to have this wide nose so I can get enough sugar. So I can get enough oxygen in to break down all this sugar I'm going to be eating, because I'm going to be eating all this, right? So those things have to stay coupled. Now, if I'm not outside anymore, and let's say, for instance, one of those wide nose sub-equatorial region folks, hint, hint, wink, wink, Dr. Inky, now lives in Detroit. And he's indoors all damn day, and he's raising his kids and whatever. Well, Dr. Inky's going to be sick. Dr. Inky's going to be sick because Dr. Inky was not designed to live that way. So before we even get into food and all that, period, being indoors all day and having things on the bottom of my feet that stop my feet from contacting the earth already puts me in a place of sickness and higher levels of inflammation than is natural for my body. My body is designed where my feet are always on the soil, because I live in a 80 to 90, I live in a 70 to 90 degree place. So there's never a time where I need shoes on. My feet are always in contact with the soil. I'm always outside, loaded with fresh oxygen, not recycled bad air. In all these buildings and houses and all that, we have the worst air imaginable, and we just recycle it through filters, and that's like, nah, we don't even have open windows in these places. Like, it's crazy. You got office buildings or warehouses and places like that where people was at, and the whole place got maybe 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 people working in there. It's no windows. They just got AC and shit like that running. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so, but everybody's anatomy is not the same. Everybody's not as sensitive this way. So the people that are sensitive are going to be the people that show up on the statistics with 10% more of this, 20% more of that. Black people have a 30% higher chance to do this, or, you know, seems like everybody's got type 2 diabetes, but man, Black folks have a 80% higher. Like, these are the differences in our genetics, in our design, in our anatomy that lead to those things. And it's not because we're designed for sickness or anything like that. It's just these weaknesses are based on our design to this new environment. I wasn't designed to live in a cold place like Michigan, nor was I designed to live indoors and blah, 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 blah. But I live here and I love Michigan. Don't get it twisted. I had three warm places to go to move to, and I chose to move to Michigan. I love Michigan. I'm from New York, so I love Michigan. You know what I'm saying? But you just have to know these things, learn these things, and try to compensate for these things. You see, don't get it twisted. What did Europeans start all around the world? Think, use your brain. They're doing what they need to do for their genetics. You just are being told that something's wrong with it when you discuss your stuff because, hey, they want you to stay on drugs and dependent and all kind of crazy stuff. They activate their program. Think about this. What did they start doing? What did white folks start up a trend doing? Polar Bear Club, right? Where they will wait until the winter time and do what? Have random therapeutic jumps in the icy ocean. What? 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 You niggas jumping in the ocean naked in the wintertime? Are you insane? But their body's different. So that's reinvigorating that cold environment. That's reminding them at a genetic level who they are. That's like hitting the reset button on their stuff. Hey, I told you, goofy guys, to get you some infrared lights. That's what you need. Get you an infrared light, hook it up in your bathroom. That way you could go in your bathroom, take a bathtub, put the infrared light on, and it'd be like 100 degrees in your bathroom. And then you would be reinvigorated onto your stuff. Yeah, you need to be able to get you some heat. You know what I'm saying? You need to get that infrared in. The more infrared you get into your body, the more cytochrome, is it cytochrome 3? Or is it cytochrome 4? Cytochrome C oxidase. We'll just do that. Cytochrome C oxidase is going to initiate the process. But the more infrared you're getting in, the more melatonin you're going to get produced in the mitochondria. And when the mitochondria start pumping out the melatonin, this is happening individually in each cell. So infrared light at a certain, once it starts flooding the body, it's going to start a cascade of all your cells releasing their own melatonin, right? Melatonin doesn't only come from the pineal gland. All mitochondria is able to make melatonin by itself. That's how mitochondria, that's one of the ways it repairs. If your mitochondria don't produce melatonin, your mitochondria is not going to be repairing itself properly. And that's going to lead to more energy, metabolism, hidden problems. This is why there's a form of diabetes called mitochondrial diabetes, right? I keep telling folks, it's not just type 1 and type 2 no more. The game is different. So you have a thing called mitochondrial diabetes. And, we have these, we just got to learn this stuff. So anyway, we're different. This is how the differences can hurt. But anyway, we're going back to the Nazis. Right? We're going back to the Nazis. This is why this is called occult health science. And you see, I didn't even get too crazy with the title, right? I just occult health science and left it at that. I ain't do no tricky doctor, you know, them long titles I be putting? Nah, because I didn't know what was going to be in the class, to be honest. So I couldn't even put no tricky detailed titles because I know for a fact there's so much occult information out there. That's just pure foolish, occult misinformation. And we're at a time where it's such a dire need to have these conversations that you know, I know where we might want to start, but I don't know where the conversation would end. So I try to keep it as simple as possible. Right. All right. So we're going to go back to the Nazis and what they were doing, because the Nazis, they had all this. So that's why when I went into the timeline, remember, I start my timeline in what? 1798. Remember, I said we start the timeline 1798. Napoleon invades Egypt because a lot of this stuff is built on top of that. And if we don't have some of these conversations that you think are not needed, you can't really get to the understanding of what's going on with the real science. Like, you just can't figure it out because it ain't gonna make sense to you. So you gotta have these other conversations to know what people was doing. Because it's crazy. Like, people is ashamed too. That's why people don't want to have these conversations, because some people is ashamed. They are ashamed. Right? I go pull out that book, Mummies, Cannibals, and Vampires. Woo! I go pull out that Mummies, Cannibals, and Vampires book. But they believe that they could eat you and get the missing nutrients from that's in your body to their body. And this concept never went away. I want y'all to understand this, because shit can get dangerous any day. In the middle of the situation we just went through, I got nervous. Because they start asking, they start putting out, we had some tests, preliminary tests are showing that the plasma of African Americans seems to be more effective at fighting off the virus than the average people. So we're asking people to come down and donate as much as plasma as you can. If you are in that demographic, you could be saving lives. And I went right on the live stream immediately to say, hey, are y'all seeing this? This is a validation of everybody that said we was crazy all this time. Now they telling you, your blood is different. In a good way. They said, your blood might say they want some. Right? But this is not a new concept. Right? So with the mummies, cannibals, vampires, they talk about how early medicine, they thought they could heal, cure, whatever by eating Black folks. That was a thing. And then when the Germans and the Nazis came along and they went out there, they did it in the scientific way. Right? So it wasn't like grabbing a hand and just eating it. You know what I'm saying? What they was doing was distilling the body. I think I'm gonna have to flip this back around and we're gonna have to go. Let me do this. I'm gonna have to erase this and we're gonna have to go crazy for a second. I know that right there. I know y'all might have missed that. I know y'all might have missed that, what I just said. I said they was distilling the human body. Which is they practice on the lower species before they got to the higher species, the same way we do in science today, right? We don't just practice stuff on humans. Before we practice on humans, what we do? We start with plants and we go in the Petri dish. We do little bacteria, then plants and stuff. Then we get some good results with the plants and the little stuff. Then we go move on to what? Actual small animals. We go to mice and then up to rats. So we get good results in mice, then we get good results in rats. Then we're going to take it to the monkeys. If we get good results in monkeys, then we might take it to people, right? So science hasn't really changed much. Remember, after the Nuremberg trials, the Nazi scientists come to America anyway. So if the Nazi scientists come to America, what does that mean? That means the Nazi science comes to America. Now, that right there is just common sense for John Q. Public. But if you are in a occult study, you know that Nazi science did not go from Germany to America. All you have to do is go back to the Nuremberg trials. The Nazi science is the American science. And this is what the arrested Nazis were saying when they was on trial. They was like, listen, we got our whole blueprint from Margaret Sanger. What are you talking about? This is Margaret Sanger, the eugenicist. This is the eugenicist. We with y'all. What are y'all doing locking us up? You better look it up. All right, you better look it up. So this is where alcohol comes from. So this part here, distill. This is alchemy. This is alchemy. This is alchemy, people. This comes from studying. If you haven't studied occult sciences, but you have read a Harry Potter book, right? Let me tell you about Harry Potter. What J.K. Rowling did with Harry Potter is she took all of the historical occult science characters and put them into the book. So even if you've never studied occult science, but you have read Harry Potter, you do know Nicholas Flamel and some of these different people, you know, what's his name? What's that guy named? Something Black from the 13th century or whatever. Anyway, you know about all these people, but distilling, this is magic right here. All right, this is a magical thing, but this is a satanic kind of thing, right? At least it could be viewed that way back in those time periods, because what they were doing was they were trying to locate the soul. They were trying to locate the life force. That's what this is. They were trying to locate the life force, right? And so when you look at a plant or animal, right, if you break it down into its basic components, it's two parts. Right? Solid and liquid. Simple. Right? But the solids grow. That's your proteins and all that. So that's not your essence. So they was looking for your essence, the essence of life force in liquid, right? In the blood, right? In the stem of the plants, in the fluid, right? So distill means to break things down, either drip by drip or drop by drop. You do it how you want to do it. But this is alchemy, people. This is the real stuff. So you might have been told they was trying to turn this into this and that. the base metal into gold. You already got to figure, you got to start right there with base. Remember, what's base? Base is the scientific word that we use euphemistically for alkaline. So anyway, so this is what they were doing, right? So when they did this with plants, this alchemical process to actually find the soul of a plant, they did distilling. And guess what? They found the souls of plants. They found the souls of plants. and called it spirits, because they literally extracted all of the living spirits out of the plants. I kid you not. Mm-hmm. Yo, they put mad joints in Detroit too, bro. That was crazy. Out of nowhere, them plasma banks start popping up overnight. I was like, what is happening right now? What is happening? I'm like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, listen. Yeah. And remember, don't listen. This is at the heart of what we're dealing with right now. This is at the heart of what we're dealing with right now. Right? What we beefing over? What we beefing over? What's everybody glued to the TV set about? Oh, yo, Puffy did it. Man, he did this and this. Man, Puffy did that. Man, no, he didn't. Them white folks is trying to mislead Puffy because he was this and that, and he made $1 billion selling what? And they owed him $2 billion from selling what? And Puffy is at war with the international conglomerate that owns over 400 different liquors that we think that other people own. This is the real owners. Right? Like we thought Puffy owned Ciroc. No. He was a label. See, that's what you don't understand label. You know what I'm saying? Like label is just you like a really well-paid mascot. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, yeah, we're to market this to a demographic you have access to. So we'll put you on the label and say it's yours so that the people that are like you will feel more comfortable buying from you. So here, this is yours. But you know, it's ours. So be careful, watch your step, take it easy. Right? So this process is what they did to people, though, also. Right? This is what the Nazis were doing pre-Holocaust. And this is where steroids comes from. So when the Nazis, when they did this back in the days to the plants, this is where they came with the spirits. Right? So we're going to have plenty more conversations about that. So just remember this right here. Facts. All facts. Right? So remember, any type of dealing with this here is automatically occult science. So don't let nobody tell you about no Masons. You see, that's what I'm saying. Listen. So I'm giving you an example now. Look. These other groups, right? Here's a Mason, right? What is this Mason doing? Selling you life-saving information, selling you herbs, selling you sea mosses, selling you exercise plans, right? What are these groups doing? They're selling you something that you don't even understand. Think about how familiar people are with liquor and they don't even understand. And these guys be thinking they study occult science. They don't even know where the word liquor comes from. If you ask them, where does that word liquor comes from? They don't know what that is. I didn't even know that the word liquor originally is a Hebrew term. I was like, wait. This is getting scarier and scarier, boy. I'm like, yo, this should get creepier and creepier. There are rabbit holes that I went down in my life and saw the truth and turned around and hauled ass and ran in the other direction. It's scary shit down the other end of a lot of these tunnels. It's scary shit down these tunnels. So don't let nobody fool you. There's a reason why you watching all these guys go the same direction. Every single rapper, they come with the liquor deal. What? What is that? What? I ain't seen one rapper made like a grape juice. Like when I haven't seen. When I don't see when is somebody gonna make a lemonade or like a I ain't even seen nobody make a soda yet. Like where's the sodas and the liquor? Every one of them, liquor. What are we doing? So just understand, this is the real stuff over here. These people engage in what? Buying and selling spirits. This is the business they're in. They buy, sell, and produce spirits. I'm not making this stuff up. This just is what it is. They buy, sell, and produce spirits. You figure out what those words mean to you. These are just the facts. You figure out what these words mean to you. It just so happens that it gets really weird when these same people that buy, sell, and basically what? If you buy and sell and make something, what would they say about that? They'd be like, oh, he traffics in. Right? If you buy, sell, and make baseball cards, they'd be like, oh, he traffics in baseball cards. Now, the terminology is out of use. It was more like 60s, 70s, 80s where they used that term, and then trafficking got the negative connotation associated with crime. And so it fell out of use unless it's associated with crime. But technically, trafficking just meant somebody that was heavily involved with the moving back and forth of something. Right? So these people traffic in spirits. Now, do we want to add what this stuff does to people? What does this stuff do? It's not the same as beer. We wasn't doing this. This wasn't in Kemet. This wasn't in Kemet. In Kemet, this is why I always try to make the distinction between people like, oh, it's alcohol, it's alcohol. You know, nah. What they were doing in Kemet was making fermented herbal elixirs, basically. There's a portion of alcohol in those herbal, but that's not this, right? What happens when you drink too many spirits? When you I want you to listen to these words like you have never listened to words before in your life. Listen to this. It might open your mind. When you consume too many spirits, you black out. When you consume too many spirits, you black out. Wait a minute. Stop right there. Blacking out means that you fall out on the ground and that you're unconscious. How come, now ask yourself this question. How come when I black out, listen to this now. How come when I black out, because I consume too many spirits, I'm unconscious, but I'm still acting. I'm still doing. I'm still talking. I'm still eating, drinking, playing, sexing, going crazy, doing anything. How come it is that when I consume too many spirits, I black out, but not like any other blacking out. Anything else that causes you to black out, you fall down. You on the ground, you incapacitated. Like you blacked out is incapacitated. The only type of blacking out where your body is still going is when you consume these spirits. So I, after years of study, have concluded that you are not blacking out from drunkenness. You are not blacking out. You have consumed enough spirits for those spirits to start to drive the car. And they have put you in the passenger seat or thrown your ass in the trunk. But either way, you are no longer driving the vehicle. At best, you can only see what you're doing, but it's almost like you're hopeless to stop yourself from wilding. Because you're not in control no more. Somebody else is driving the car. Somebody else driving the car. And guess what? Once they finish having their fun, now you finally crash and now you're down. Because you really was already down, but they had you held up. Right? But after your body is able to fight them off, get them out of your blood. Now you out. So you come back to. Damn, my head is hurting. Fuck. What the hell did I do last night? What did I do last night? Did I go out? Who was I with last night? Oh, I know who I was with. Let me call my man and see. Hopefully I ain't make too big of a mess. Hopefully I make too big of a mess. And, yo, how did last night go? Did you get me home? Did you get me out the way? Did you keep me out the way last night, or did you let me show back? You know what I'm saying? Like 80 to 90% of crime in America. Let me rephrase that. 80 to 90% of violent crime in America associated with consumption of spirits. There's nothing else that holds that record. Cocaine doesn't affect violence like spirits. Heroin, what they said, that bath salt stuff. There's no chemical, there's nothing that you can consume that is as associated with erratic, violent behavior, or on the other side, because if you don't want to get violent, what do you want to do? You want to do deviant sex. So these spirits that's coming in is basically coming in with the spirit of deviant sex and violence. Now listen, people could argue this all they want to argue. The numbers is the numbers. And anybody that used to drink or that drink now, they know when you get drunk, what you getting ready to do? You getting ready to fight, or you getting ready to, you're going to, it's one of the two F words. You're going to either be ing or you're going to be fighting by the end of the night. One of those two things is going to have to happen. Yeah. And Force said I'm going too far. Yeah, I'm going too far. Is it? Is they about to start flying? Listen, but this is what it is, right? This is what it is. So we getting there, right? We getting there. I just want y'all to understand that some of the things that you see sitting right in front of you. Remember, this was illegal for a long time. This was illegal for a long time. They had to do this in the hills, in the woods, in the forests, in the back of the store. Like, the only reason they really made liquor legal in America is because they couldn't stop people from selling it and making it on their own. So they was like, all right, well, we might as well get some of that money. But other than that, like the streets, you could say, the streets forced the government to accept this thing here as a, you know. And so now, because it's been a part of society for so long and it's commercial, right? So as a commercial enterprise now, you want to eliminate any of the imagery and the ideas from your product that could slow down sales. So slowly but surely, somewhere in the late 90s, they started a campaign where all the liquor stores went from being called wines and spirits. That's what they used to be called, wines and spirits stores, or you just went to the spirit spot. Literally, that, like, you walk down the street and say wines and spirits. They changed that, and you start seeing liquor pop up. Liquor everywhere. Liquor, a word that nobody really understands. What is liquor? It's alcohol. Oh, okay. Well, what happened to the spirits? It just vanished out of use. Why? Because they don't even want any of this information to circulate. They don't want none of this here to circulate, right? The origins of this. So they tell you that alchemy is pseudoscience. Like, you have people that tell you alchemy is pseudoscience and then go right to the liquor store and get a bottle of Hennessy. And I just be looking like, You know that Hennessy bottle is a result of that pseudoscience. You know that pseudoscience made that drink right there. And it also made the people that you purchased that Hennessy from billions of dollars. So that is a very interesting damn pseudoscience that's making billionaires and trillionaires all around the globe. I'm just saying, we might want to start paying attention to some of this stuff, because the people that's paying attention to, once again, these different ancient hey, these the folks that's running the world, right? And it gets very scary to us when we see that the very same people that's telling us to not pay attention to these sciences, it doesn't make sense, whatever, because it's witchcraft and deviltry and all that, they get busted doing it. And then they get busted with something else and busted. What the? And then you're not realizing that their whole entire fortune comes from these occult practices. And some of these occult practices you might be practicing, don't even know these occult practices. You may not even know these are occult concepts. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we off that, we on to the human. We back over here onto the human side, right? So this what they was doing over there in Germany before they got to anybody else. Right, so they had ran all their experiments on killing and all that on us first. Right? Yeah, these people do not look like. And look at that. Look at that. There go my nose right there. Look at my nose right there. Hold up. My man got the Dr. Inky nose right there. Look at my man in the back over here. That's the Dr. Inky nose right there. Look at that nose. That's the Dr. Inky nose right there. Hold up. Look at that. Look at that nose right there. That is the Dr. Inky nose right there. Yep, that one right there. It's just kind of shorter than mine's. Yep. Yep. But yep, that's what they was doing down there. Decades. Yeah, this is an article you could go pull up. So go get the full article and dig into it by Edwin Black. Decades before the Nazis turned to the other people, German colonists in Southwest Africa, now Namibia, dehumanized, built death camps for, and slaughtered tens of thousands of tribes people in a systematic genocide. Okay, the systematic part was the experiments that they did on the bodies, and then went into the distilling process. Once they basically chopped up the bodies, right? They chop up the bodies. Same thing they did to the plants, right? You break down the plants and you get the anatomy, right? So this is the pistil, the stem, the leaf, the this and that. You break that all down. Then once you got what you got from there, now you start to cut those and examine the insides of them, and you get that breakdown. And you keep going until you've broken down every part that you can like see with your tools, whatever the strength of your microscopes are in that year and time and all that. And then what you got left is, now you're trying to, once you get to the finest material and you start looking for the spirit, you're trying to extract the spirit from the liquid of the living. Then you get to the distilling process, right? So of course, they got to go through the chopping process before you can get to any of that, right? And so you got, a lot of, cut off heads and private parts and all that. The origins and effects of testosterone have been recognized throughout the history of humankind. Hunter performed testicular transplantation experiments in 1776. While studying tissue transplantation techniques, and almost a century later, Berthold linked the physiological and behavioral changes of castration to a substance secreted by the testes, right? So they doing all type of stuff and watching the responses and all that. So when they start cutting the testicles off of the black men, they noticed there was a substance that was coming out of the testes, right? And they assumed that substance had something to do with the differences in how their body was built. And anyway, so The Bastards of Rehoboth and the Problem of Miscegenation in Man, which claim to document the corrupted moral and biological nature of black-white offspring. The author was a German biologist and race scientist, Eugene Fischer. He was stationed in colonial Southwest Africa, where he studied local Dutch African families cited in the work. From the studies, such as Fisher's, sprang the fraudulent science of American eugenics that medicalized racial theory. Propelled by abundant financing from the Carnegie Institution, Harriman Railroad, and the Rockefellers, eugenics ultimately led to the sterilization of some 60,000 Americans under law in 27 states, as well as racial and ethnic incarceration. So here's a quick rundown of how this goes. More efficient respiration, blah, 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 blah. All right. So these guys was the ones that made up the, what you call? This is how they got to the steroids and all that. That's where your steroids came from. Let me see if we have anything else on it. Racial differences in ocular oxidative metabolism, implications for ocular disease. Yes, your eyes work differently, but that's not what we're looking for right now. Okay, so I think we're good. I think we got it. Okay, so we're good. We're good. I think we got it. All right, so yeah, so that's what they was doing down there. That's what they was doing down there before, you know, so that's how they came up with the steroids. You know what I'm saying? That's where the steroids came from. All right, good reminder. Good reminder. Go to Cash App, $ Minister Inky, right? That's a great reminder. And listen, feel free to make sure, or try to make sure, we gotta start a campaign. Inky needs to be paid better than Charleston White, damn it.
Is Charleston getting more than that interview? Oh Lord, that's crazy.
Home, I done got 40,000 for an interview.
Damn.
I went to California last year. Right after the BET Awards, man. I was right, man, 40,000. Nigga, I did a 8-hour interview.
Faith and love, love and faith, believe, faith and love, love.
Yeah. Come on, we still got more work to do. We ain't finna. I just wanted, that was the main thing that I needed though from the presentation. See, I had to show that. You need to see that. If you don't see it, then it ain't gonna fully make sense. Now we can jump. We can move around after, but you need to see some stuff sometime. Right? Adolf. Adolf. Man, we seem to keep having problems with these Adolf guys. Adolf was a German biochemist. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1939 for his work on sex hormones. He initially rejected the award in accordance with government policy, but accepted it in 1949 after World War II. He was president of the Max Planck Society from 1960 to 72. He was also the first in 1959 to discover the structure of the sex pheromone of silkworms, which he named Bombico. Interesting. Bambila. Bam bam aya, I want that bam bam aya. This to All right, my bad. Born in Leahy near Bremerhaven, he started his studies. Blah blah. We don't care about this. Where we at? We want to get to this work, right? And look at this. See how y'all prepared. Look at this. Do y'all have y'all books? How many people got the Black Lives Matter book? Let me see you put your hand up. How many people got the Black Lives Matter book? How many people got the chemistry book? Right? That's where this all this get important. Where you at? Right? Because if you already started the Black Lives Matter work, right? What'd that say? Freemasonry exposed. Chemistry squared. Right? Freemasonry exposed. Chemistry squared. Black Lives Matter. Right? So get familiar with these black lines, you automatically should see something when you see this and pop right out. Right? You see that hexagon, boom, boom, boom. But the first one you see, you know what that is right there. Right? You know, you got those alternating double bonds right there. Right? So you already know what this is. Right? You already know what this is. Right? So immediately we're dealing with light. Right? Immediately we're dealing with light. Right? So, okay, so now let's get to the business here. His work on rotenones was considered useful by the Nazi leadership as it could be useful for controlling lice among the soldiers. Blah, 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 blah. Adolf Windaus and Walter Scholler of Schering gave him the advice to work on hormones extracted from ovaries. Hello. This research led to the discovery of estrone and other primary female sex hormones, which were extracted from several thousand liters of urine. While working as professor, I wonder how they extracted it from the liquid. While working as professor in Danzig at the Chemisches Institute, the what? The Chemisches, that's crazy. We'll leave that. He was continuing his works over hormones, extracting progesterone in 1934 and testosterone a year later. The research results were along the synthesis of steroids by Leopold Ruzicka, considered significant enough to award the Nobel Prize in 1939. In 1940, he was involved in research on a hormone treatment to make long time, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So you see how the early work that they were doing kind of bleeds into this work here, right? Kind of bleeds on over into this work over here. And hopefully it's starting to come together.
Myron! Myron!
What?
What are you doing? What you doing?
What you talking about? What am I doing?
You reading them nasty books again, right, Myron?
Everybody reading those nasty books, man. You scared the hell out of me. What you talking about, man? Wait, I ain't did that in about 2 weeks.
You called yesterday 2 weeks. What you reading? What you reading?
You scared the goddamn book, man. Dr. Inky. I went on Amazon and got 3 Dr. Inky books because I'm reading about melatonin and biochemistry.
What is, Myron, that's not even first of all, it's not melatonin and whatever it is that you just said. It's melanin and biochemistry. You can't even pronounce the word, so how you reading? How you reading, Myron?
I'm not looking at the pictures. I got the books right here. I'm looking at the pictures. You know, ain't nothing nasty about this. So what are you talking about? I got all the books right here. What are you talking about?
Myron, you don't even know how to read. Every time we get mail, you bring it to me. You think I don't know that?
I got hooked on Phoenix. Now, what you talking about? I was hooked on Phoenix, so I know how to read.
As of when? Because first of all, hooked on phonics, I believe it's for kids. There's no such thing as hooked on Phoenix. And if I recall, you're the same person that thought reindeer was pronounced reinder, and you're the same person that thought pigeon was pronounced piggion. So it makes sense that you went to hooked on Phoenix.
Man, such a dumbass.
No,
you always trying to say somebody can't read. I know exactly what I'm talking about, man. I'm reading the book. I got the book. I got the goddamn receipt right here. I got the goddamn receipt right here for the books. What are you talking about?
Well, you need to return them for somebody who know how to read them. And I still don't. It's probably all type of stuff in the inside of the books, Myron. That's how sneaky you are. Give me the books. Give me the books, Myron.
Hell no.
Give me the books, Myron. Give me the books, Myron.
I'm not giving you none. I got these books off Amazon. I'm not giving you the books. Ain't that no.
Yo, well, bye. Bye.
I've been in this game. Yeah, animals to the shit. Animal, baby.
The gods have blessed us. We must act now. We must act now to save us, to save our souls.
Come on, we're back to work. Come on, we're back to work. We ain't did nothing. We ain't finished. We still here. The government of the German Democratic Republic conducted decades, tens of years, decades-long program of coercive administration and distribution of performance-enhancing drugs, initially testosterone, but later just anabolic drugs in general to its athletes. The aim of the program, which began in the 60s, was to bolster Germany's image and prestige by winning the medals in international competitions such as the Olympic Games. The system was extremely formalized and heavily based on what? What's that word right there? What that say right there? What's that? Huh? What's that right there? And this is Germany. What came out of Germany? Your favorite. Adam Weishaupt game. Yeah, they in this day house. Yeah. The system was extremely formalized and heavily based on secrecy. Scholars and athletes have noted the pervasiveness of the operations, the secrecy surrounding them, and the extent of the abuse the athletes suffered because of them. While doping brought East Germany impressive results in sports, all right, so we got it. We got this, right? Blah, 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 blah. Right? You can pull this up. Look, doping in East Germany. I want you to think, you can pull this up. It's a lot of reading, right? Not a lot of reading, but for what we're doing right now, I don't need it. We can skip on down. We can skip on down. We know what it was, right? We know what it was. Yo, check out these numbers. Look, at the time, East German athletic results constituted an immense success. Not until the 1964 Olympics in Tokyo had East Germans won more medals than their West German counterparts. 4 years later, 68 Olympics in Mexico holds the two separate Germans. So this is what I'm saying. These numbers be interesting. 1964 was a hell of a year. 1964 was a hell of a year. You got Germany with their occult, distilled products from black folks. They done got this stuff that they done distilled from you. And now they over there doing, like, they making super soldiers out of this. But just remember forever that the super soldier is injected with genetic material from Africans. Just however you wrestle with that. I didn't do the extracting. I didn't do the shooting. I'm not one of the Africans. Whatever. These are just the facts. That's what they are. Right? And when they discussed it in the Olympic setting, the white athletes said that's why they was taking steroids, so they could beat the black athletes. And when what's his name? Damn, I done forgot his name. It was Carl Lewis. And who did he snitch on? Again, sucker. Carl Lewis is a sucker. He snitched on my man, who he found out from one of his friends. He was friends with the white boys. And he said, yo, my man just told me that they got this stuff they injecting and it's going to make them run way faster than we running. Now, he told me that if I still want to win, I can get some of that stuff, and then we be back to even. Because basically, he like, look, they saying this is how it goes based on the normal anatomy. That we got that fast twitch muscle, right? So it's 9 out of 10 times we're gonna win those sprints. You know, we run the sprint, the 100-yard dash, 50-meter dash. That's us. But they take this stuff, and then all of a sudden it transformed their body, and now they can beat us, right? But if we also take that stuff, then we just be back to normal again. So that's what he did. And I think it was the 1980 Olympic. Matter of fact, let's find his name. Because God, who is the snitch? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Ben Johnson. Damn it, there you go. I just had to go to the chat. My bad. I can't always see the chat. Ben Johnson. My man Ben Johnson was cool with mad white guys. Ben Johnson was similar to me. If you're a scumbag, you're a scumbag. If you're a good guy, you're a good guy. I don't care the package. You know what I'm saying? The package you in, you good person or not, you know, that's it. You know what I'm saying? So Ben Johnson like, yo, I'm telling you, white boys I'm rocking with, they about to plug me in. I don't know what you doing over here. I'm going to get plugged in. You know what I'm saying? Like, so Ben Johnson, he do it, and exactly what he said happened. Carl Lewis put on that whole, well, I'm going to do it the natural way, you know, the old school way. I'm still going to be able to win. All right, suit yourself. Go ahead. Just don't tell on me. You know, if you chosen to do that, go ahead and do your thing. I'm just letting you know that everybody we competing against, they're going to be taking this new stuff, and I'm getting ready to go get me a bottle. Now, that's all I'm telling you. My man went and got him together, and when he was out there, it looked crazy out there. Carl Lewis was so embarrassed. He dropped down because he was embarrassed. Not that he lost. He couldn't reconcile with how bad he lost. And he tried his hardest and got destroyed. He had to drop. He snitched. Carl Lewis is the original Tekashi 6ix9ine. Not even Tekashi 6ix9ine. Carl Lewis is Troy Ave. Yo, Ben Johnson is what's that? Casanova or whatever. Yeah. No, not Casanova. What's the other guy? The podcast guy, whatever his name is. That's Ben Johnson. Y'all ridiculous. Y'all ridiculous. But anyway, so now you get in the story, right? All right, so so they did their thing. They start winning. Right? Look at this. The total count by the Germans in the Winter and Summer Olympics from 1956 to 1988 amounted to 203 gold medals. Woo! That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, so this is where we at. In 1977, Dr. Inky was born. In 1977, East German shot putter Ilona Supniak, who weighed 93 kilograms, tested positive for anabolic steroids at the European Cup meet in Helsinki. At that point, the GDR government took over the Krisha testing laboratory near Dresden, which was reputed to administer around 12,000 tests a year on German athletes. None of them were penalized. The International Amateur Athletics Federation suspended Splinyak for 12 months, a penalty that ended 2 days before the European Championships in Prague. Contrary to what the IAAF hoped, sending her home to East Germany allowed her to train unchecked with anabolic steroids, then compete for another gold medal, which she definitely won. Come on now. All right, let's get to the They ain't even get to the discovery. Okay, so they talking about discovery of the doping. I thought they was going to go into the I thought they was going to give us some more details on the science. I thought they was going to give us some more details on the science. All right, but at least we got it. We got a good idea. Right? We got a good idea. We didn't have to beat a dead horse. Right? I think we got it. Let's see. Let me see if we can find something. I just like to be as thorough as possible. I know it's always a good day when Marv stop in. Shout out to Marv. See, we got Marv, we got Goldmouth, we got the team up in here. Let me see what we got going on. Hold on, check this out for a second. My name is Minister Inky. I am the naturopathic doctor and the spokesman for the melanin-diabetes diabetes ministry. Every time you go to the supermarket without the electrician grocery shopping list, it's like putting a loaded gun to your head. Stop playing Russian roulette with your life. Help us make America great again. Learn how to save time. Learn how to save money with the electrician grocery shopping list on Amazon now. Go to Amazon now. The life you save may be your own.
Oh, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what I'm supposed to do. Good. Good thing I have my grocery shopping list. Don't leave home without it.
All right, hold on. I'm sniffing something out over here. I'm trying to sniff something out. See, we over here in Nature magazine. I'm trying to sniff something out. Let me see what we got cooking over here. Look at these numbers pop out with this guy. Don't these numbers just pop out to you? In 1933, at just the age of 30, he became, at 33, he turned down the offer to be, like, yo, these numbers is crazy. But in the records of the DFG, the human geneticist Otmar von Verscher told some colleagues in 46 that his collaborator, Joseph Mengele, had sent him 200 blood samples from Auschwitz concentration camp, and that Gunther Hillman worked with Butenau and helped with the. Now, all right, now you're starting to get to some of that work. So here is confessions of where they get this, because they're trying to clean up this history. They don't want people to know what's really going on, right? Yeah. So here you go. Here you go. They doing a little confession right in here. They got blood samples from the concentration camps and all that. Yeah. Okay. But that's the guy, Butenau. Butenau that was doing that nasty work. He was over there distilling niggas. Yeah, it is crazy. Think about that. Now, let me ask you a question. How can you ever get I be feeling like, well, not feeling like Martin, but Martin Luther King said in one of his speeches, he got a line that's just so powerful when he delivered it, though. He just said, I want to get the language right tonight. And it just, the way he said it, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes I be having those moments where I be looking for the words, like I want to make sure I say the right thing. You know, I want to get the language right tonight. So that's why sometimes I might be about to say something, I don't say anything at all, and I just go back. Because if I can't find the right way to say something, I'm realizing as I get, a little older, like sometimes you just don't say it. Don't say it, Ink. Yeah, don't say it, Ink. Right? Oh, wait a minute. Y'all was looking at something different than I was looking at? That's crazy. My bad. Hold on. Let me see how this damn thing didn't even work right. This is what I was looking at. I was over here looking at this. Here you go. In case y'all want to pull it up yourself. My bad. I was on this. Hidden History is in Nature magazine, right? And this goes into where you have some admission that they was grabbing You see, blood samples from the concentration camps and all this stuff. Right? Well, all this stuff now is a part of medicine. You know, it's not seen as it's coming from wherever or tainted in any way, or right. So you got to understand all this is coming out of these studies, right? So now you have a process going on. You have Europeans that are curious about the world, right? And their place in it and all this and all that. And they're working to counter the idea of I'm gonna say the idea of God per se, but maybe what the African idea of God was, if that makes sense, right? Because to the African mind at the time, they wouldn't even be trying to do certain things. They'd be like, no, God does that. Like, I'm supposed to be over here. No, that ain't that ain't nothing about that's grown folk business. You ever when you was a kid, didn't your parents tell you every something? That's grown folk business. Go take your ass to your room or go do your homework or go wash your clothes or take a go to bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, stay out of grown folk business. Like certain things Africans would have said, that's grown folk business. God's handled that. That's not. We do this over here and this and this and this. We don't worry about. So, but there's an idea, there's a pattern that you need to understand in order to understand the occult stuff. So hopefully we uncovering this pattern. And then from the pattern, you start to get into business. This is how occult science like this becomes business, right? Because you have a pattern. You have a pattern of occult study, right? Occult study, which began with the soul and spirit. That is it. Occult study was trying to figure out the soul and spirit, right? So it starts here. You're studying some stuff, right? Now, and when I say some stuff, I'm talking about written stuff. You're studying ancient writings, papyri, scrolls, things like that, right? Now, it's like mining for gold. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's another reason why I be needing cash apps. Like, yo, y'all want me to keep researching? I need to keep buying books. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to mine for gold. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you might buy a whole bunch of stuff and you ain't found nothing. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep going. You know what I'm saying? But so now they may find something, right? So say they find something. That really works, right? Who was it? I think it was Aristotle. Aristotle is famous for this. See, y'all don't even connect Aristotle with this. See, this is the problem. Y'all don't connect Aristotle with this. You're like, hold on, bro. You're going too far. This might be too much for the people, brother. You're going too crazy all at one time. Why would we be connecting Aristotle with this? And what does this all have to do with Puff? This is everything to do with Puff. Everything, because these is the people. Look, let me show you something. Let me show you how this goes. Let me show you how this goes. Now, let's see. Did that come up enough? Okay, good. What did Aristotle? And I might get the name wrong. It might not have been Aristotle. I think it is Aristotle. Aristotle quote about distilling. Look at this. What did he say? Let me see if it's him. What we are repeating? No, what the hell is this? That's just a random anything. I don't want that. Hold up. Get rid of this. No. Dun. Okay, what were you saying? The physician heals, nature makes well. Aristotle describing his distillation experiment. They all water modified. Hold up, let's dig into this. What were we talking about, Aristotle? What are you saying over here? Slap Aristotle. I'm about to slap Aristotle in the field. Come on, man, I can't do that. Oh, you know what? I could do Command F. Come on now. Shout out the architect for teaching me Command F. Shout out the architect for teaching me Command F. You see how fast I was able to search this? Okay, look. Salt water, when it turns into vapor, becomes sweet. And vapor does not form salt water when it condenses again. This I know by experiment. The same thing is true in every case of the kind. Wine and all fluids that evaporate and condense back into a fluid state become water. They are all water modified by a certain admixture, the nature of which determines their flavor. Okay, yeah, that's not the quote I'm looking for. But the fact that that is a quote from him describing some of his results in the distillation experiment, a lot of people won't even attach liquor to Aristotle, but you need to, because I'm going to show you why. Hold on, we're going to find this quote. Nah, man. Distilling the essence of human experiments. See, these folks, they was into a lot of stuff. Hold on, man. Aristotle. Let's see. Oh, wow. Why are companies, look at this. It's a company called Aristotle Spirits. That's epic. Let's look at this. What they say? What they say? In the 4th century, look at this here. In the 4th century BC, Aristotle first suggested spirit distillation. Nearly 2,500 years later, at Aristotle Spirits, we are creating a feeling. Okay. We'll get on that. This is where I want this, though. We got to get on this. That's a little bit more to help our search. 4th century BC, Aristotle distillation. We're gonna add some of this to our search to see if we get some better results. We don't want Aristotle Spirits. We want Aristotle discussing distilling. No. Am I not spelling this nigga name right? Aristotle. Oh, yes, I'm definitely butchering the name. That might help. You know what? How about we do this? Let's go backwards. Let's go on over here to Wiki. And you see in that first quote that I read from him, it said when you heat up the salt water, right? What's the first thing they tell you got to deal with for your kidneys? You got to get that salt out of there. Why? Because the salt is doing what to the water? Okay, now. Distillation, also classical distillation, is the process of separating the component substances of a liquid mixture into two or more chemically discrete substances. Chemically discrete. That is interesting. Separation process is realized by way of selective boiling of the mixture and the condensation of the vapors in a still. A still is an apparatus used to distill liquid mixtures by heating to selectively boil and then cooling, condense the vapor. A still uses the same concepts as a basic distillation apparatus, but on a much larger scale. Stills have been used to produce perfume and medicine. Interesting history. Okay, let's get here.
British, blah, blah, blah. Neither the Greeks nor the Romans had any term for the modern concept of distillation, like the word distill, I refer to something else. Distillo, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Come on now. Aristotle. Damn. I'm looking for his, I guess I gotta pull up his actual work because they ain't gonna put it nowhere else, but because it might be a little too crazy. But basically he said that they knew they found the spirits. They knew they had found the living spirit of the plants because it went on fire. It was highly flammable. The thing that they was extracting from this water, it was highly flammable. And because it was highly flammable, they knew that was the living spirit of the plants. And we know alcohol is flammable. You put the tissue on it and, you know, they make the Molotov cocktails, right? So I'm just saying. Now, I'm saying that the Aristotle thing is important for another reason, right? And it is, right? Because let's take a look over here at Aristotle, right? Who's Aristotle? Aristotle is who? A Greek philosopher, right? A Greek philosopher and polymath. Polymath has nothing to do with math, right? Or at least not totally to do with math. Polymath is just being a well-rounded, you know, a well-rounded person in terms of the studies. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like you know multiple maths. It's just knowing multiple disciplines. His writings covered a broad range: natural sciences, philosophy, linguistics, blah, da, 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 da. All right, but we get it. He's a Greek guy, you know, and he was one of them ones in terms of Greece. Right? Now look at the Muslims. Look at the Muslims. They in trouble. Oh my goodness. The Muslim brothers will have to explain this here to me. Woo! This right here might be ether. I'm gonna have to mark this part of the video just so I can find this easy, family.
The gods have blessed us. We must act now. We must act now to save us, to save our souls.
That is crazy, right? That is crazy. Okay, so now let's go into briefly the other part of this, which comes from the Greeks. Hold on.
The gods have blessed us. We must act now. We must act now to save us, to save our souls.
Right. So some of these concepts, right? These are the concepts that we're talking about. These are the concepts that we're talking about.
right? So all of those things comes from one source. You got it? I don't want to put too much of that stuff. You got a good idea. You got it? Wait, no. That's when this is that. No. That yeah. That right there. That comes from the same place. That right there, right? So the liquor and these practices come from the same place. So understand now, you have two things happening when you talk about these occult stuff there, right? Because we get into the soul and the spirit, right? So now hold on. If there's a depiction, right, and I'm asking you this to answer in the chat, right? Answer this in the chat or answer this in the comment section under the video. When you hear of, and I'm not talking about you atheists and you agnostics, this is not for y'all. These are for the people that actually believe in God or know that God exists. Sometimes I don't believe in God. I know God. Okay. You two categories, the believers in God and the knowers of God, right? And somebody say, I am God. Believers and the knowers. When you use your material, whether it's the Quran or it is the Bible, Bhagavad Gita, whatever you tapping into, right? When you read of stories where there are conversations between God and man, direct, not an angel on behalf of blah, 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 or any type of interaction with God, one of two things has to happen. You have to somehow be transported to his domain, or he has to be transported to yours. So this is where the wheels of Ezekiel's, what was that? The Ezekiel, either you got to go in the spirit or he has to come into the flesh, right? But so the ideas of the interacting with God is something usually here, right? So when we talk about the biblical concept, right? The biblical concept of communication with God is music and it's dancing. It's music and it's dancing. Do you understand this? We could just stop this whole thing right there. Hold on. In the Bible, when they lost their blessing, they started burning. 2018, radio turned urban because we started with nothing and did it the best. Sound becomes light, light becomes. Okay, so in the Bible, you communicate with God, right? And communication is everything. Communication is the most important thing in the world. So understand that. The Soulcraft book is 80% about communication. Communication, multiple levels, amongst people, amongst cells. That's the constant comparison in that book. Cellular communication to people communication. So there, just put that on the side for a second. Now, communication between God and his people. I'll put that his up there. Because those are either his people that he chose or the people that chose to whatever. So we'll just put that specification there. And we're going to put the modality is to sing, dance. Singing and dancing. So let's just say for a second. Let's say for a second, I really believe in the Bible, right? And I really believe that everything in the Bible is true. Like I live my life on this. Like, let's say this, right? Because usually when you refer to the people who own and control the music business, you're talking to a people whose whole existence comes from this book, correct? So we have to understand, don't use your perception of the Bible as whoop, 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 because you ain't the one that, you know. So just understand, right? So now, if singing and dancing is how you communicate with God, right? And God is light. Check this out. God is light. Now, here's some coincidences. Okay, I don't want anybody to make any jokes or be funny because people can get offended. This is a very touchy space. This is a very touchy space, and I don't mean any offense by it to anybody, but we must address some things real quick to figure some stuff out. We got to step into this space to figure some stuff out.
The gods have blessed us. We must act now. We must act now to save us, to save our souls.
All right, now pay attention. I'm over here. It's me. All right, so look, pay attention, right? Now, I don't mean any offense. I'm going to say that again, disclaimer. Now, check this out. This is very important because right in this next few minutes, we're going to touch the hot. Like these are the button. When you say the hot button, you know somebody's buttons to press. Listen, this is live wire. Okay, now pay attention again. Communication is the most important thing in the universe. Forget about God and his people. I'm saying in general, communication is the key to organization. Organization is the thing. Hold on, let me say this. Communication is the key to organization. And organization is literally the key to life. Okay? You can take atoms and organize them this way. Like, for instance, you could take hydrogen atoms and organize them in a way that you got an atomic bomb. You can also take hydrogen atoms and organize them in a way where you get the most powerful antioxidant for your body. Like something incredibly destructive or something incredibly productive is just about how the atoms are arranged. Same stuff, just so when we're talking about different arrangement of atoms, what are you talking about? Shape. You're talking about shape, geometry. Hello, is this thing on? You're talking about geometry. Wait a minute. Isn't there an organization that told you geometry? Communication, the most important thing in the world. Now, as far as the Bible's concerned, right? God and his people only have one way of communicating. That is singing and dancing. Singing and dancing. So now, on this planet, who is the natural singer And what group of people are the natural singers and dancers on this planet? There's a worldwide consensus that black folks, whatever that black folks thing means, we still got to address that at some point, but that black folks are the best singers and dancers in the world. So check this out. So now if I believe that singing and dancing is the communication with God, I'm also saying that black folks are the best at communicating with God. Listen to these concepts. Because what came from this? What came from these concepts? The concept came that what? The white man don't got no soul. And how can you prove the white man don't got no soul? Because he can't dance. I need y'all to go right to the Cash App right now and Cash App Dr. Inky and say, God damn it, Dr. Inky, you just blew everybody's mind. We're getting ready to send you to breakfast, lunch, and dinner today, damn it. They said proof that the white man doesn't have no soul is because the white man can't dance. So now, hold up. If you could only communicate by God by singing and dancing, but white folks can't sing or dance, if you could only communicate to God by singing and dancing, white folks can't sing and dance. Listen, these not my concepts. I'm just telling you this is just what it is. So now you do the math. I'm asking you to think and you to tell me. I want to hear from y'all mouth. Answer it. Put it down there. Come on. I want y'all to answer this. If you believe that singing and dancing is the only way to communicate with God, but you also believe that you personally cannot sing and dance, that would lead to if P then Q, right? If P then Q, if singing and dancing is how you communicate with God, and you cannot sing or dance, that would mean you effectively cannot what? Communicate with God. I need you to understand these concepts. These are not my concepts. I didn't create these concepts. I'm just trying to tell you, these are the concepts that lead to what you see on the news today. These are the concepts that's going on in behind the scenes. These are the concepts going on to the obsession with suntans and all kinds of with that vampire facial and all this parabiosis, all of these other things that we're going to get to. It's right here. It's this relationship. This is remember, this book runs the world. So whether you believe in this book or not, this book believes in you because you live in a world that's governed by this book. Its laws, its concepts, and everything. So you could not go along with this if you want, but it's going to go along with you. Period. Like that's how it goes. Why do you think if you watch a court case, everything they say to the judge, they say, well, we pray that you may do. You think that that's what they actually say? No, that's the lingo of the court because the court is acting on authority from the Bible, from God. That's why the court can rule death. They acted on authority from... Listen, y'all have to understand this. You got to get this stuff, right? So now look, we're going to keep saying it. I want to keep saying till you get it. If I believe in this book, and this book teaches me that the only way you could communicate with God is by singing and dancing, right? If I cannot sing or dance, then that means I cannot communicate with God. If my family can't sing or dance, that means my family can't communicate with God. If my entire race of people can't sing or dance, that means my entire race of people can't communicate with God. Right? Right? That's such a wild, scary concept. Right? Now, you may not agree with it, but you can at least see how somebody else, especially religious zealots, they'll tap, they go crazy into this. Right now, here's another part that's a separate part that will also add to this type of ideology, right? Because God is also identified in this book as light, right? God is identified in this book as light. Now, the same people that cannot sing and dance, they also cannot absorb light without getting sick at high concentration. So now that's another thing that would play into the psyche of these people. Like, man, if God is light, when I go out into the light, then I'm going out into the presence of God. And if I go out into the presence of God, and the presence of God gives me cancer or makes me sick, I mean, listen. Okay, I think I said enough here for you to get some things. I think you can get some things here. If you don't see, I can't make it no more plain for you.
The gods have blessed us. We must act now. We must act now to save us, to save our souls.
So, remember what we was talking about? What was that, class 1? The deal? Remember the deal? Now does that deal start to make more sense? Hey, we have spent a whole bunch of zillions of dollars. Now, hold up now. We have spent a whole bunch of zillions of dollars making this technology. And this technology allows us to record your voice. And then we can get you to sign this contract. So now your voice becomes whose voice? My voice.
The gods have blessed us. We must act now. We must act now to save us, to save our souls.
Hey. Oh, yeah. So anyway, so now your voice, my voice, right? And what does the voice do? The voice is everything, right? The voice is what sings, right? To communicate with the creator, right? It sings to God, but also what else? The Bible tells you in the beginning, what did it tell you? The voice is the creator. The voice is the creator.
The gods have blessed us. We must act now. We must act now to save us,
to save our souls.